The sky gradually brightened, and a hint of pale fish, belly white, appeared in the eastern sky. Jiang Sun sat by the hospital bed, staring out the window in a daze. Mu Ling was rushing back and forth in the corridor. People in the next room were crying, and others were calling for healers. Everything was in chaos. No one knew how many people had been hurt in this incident. All the people coming and going at this medical station were residents from West City suffering physical injuries. Presumably, the officials of Aoki City would release an official announcement with specific details today. In the early days when the game descended, Great Xia had faced some setbacks. But as more professional classes awakened, the government gained full capacity to manage its people. Moreover, it always stood firmly on humanity's side. That was why even some lone players who had become powerful by chance would not oppose Great Xia's authorities once they grew strong. Most of them chose to join official forces. Perhaps this stemmed from the drive for the nation's survival. His mother had not yet woken, but she looked close. Her body had begun to shift restlessly on its own. Zhang Xiaoxiao had fallen asleep curled up in the accompanying chair. The dust was gone from her school uniform, yet it remained heavily creased. Her small face was clean, though streaked with dried tear tracks. For a girl of 14 or 15, experiencing such a catastrophe was truly hard to bear, especially knowing her mother might never walk again. There were regenerative healing skills that could restore lost limbs. Yet such skills were extremely high tier. At minimum, they were epic rank. Healers capable of using epic rank abilities were at least 6th order professionals. They were heavily occupied, stationed in Divine City and the primary major cities. Some accompanied high-rank professionals to explore secret realms, while others ventured into the wilderness to defeat bosses. Jiang Sun was in no position to get one of them to come here right now. Still, he did not worry. He could learn healing skills himself and level them up using universal experience points. It would simply take time. His existing skills also held great room for improvement and demanded massive amounts of universal experience. Summoning art had just advanced from white quality to Iron LV1, unlocking an additional summoning slot. That explained how he could wield 2 summoned creatures without even reaching the first order. Summon enhancement stood at Iron LV6. It boosted his summon stats by 100%, effectively doubling all their attributes. As for Magic Missile, Jiang Sun never fought directly. This skill, comparable to a basic attack for mages or warriors, sat unused. He had no plans to upgrade it unless he possessed an enormous surplus of universal experience. Vital Source was currently Iron LV9. It raised his maximum health by 610 points and granted passive regeneration of 28 health per second. This life-saving skill still needed further improvement. His top priority was breaking through to first order. When his cultivation technique reached the 3rd realm, it would unlock a technique-exclusive special effect, comparable to a unique skill. Frankly, Jiang Sun was quite eager to see what it would be. Back in school, his teacher had emphasized this key knowledge point repeatedly. Ahem, pay attention, key exam content. Oops, wrong timeline. Cultivation techniques granted 2 major benefits to professionals. First came realm, base stat multipliers, far more powerful than the additive bonuses from ordinary skills. Second were the unique special effects unlocked at each new realm. To put it plainly, they were incredibly formidable. He opened his status panel and glanced over it. Current level, 9. Experience, 14,600. Cultivation art, basic summoning hard art, 2nd realm. Iron Sphere and Salted Fish were both gold, rank, still, at LV1. He had never had spare experience to level them. Now that he was level 9, it was time to raise his summon's power. But that could wait. First, he would push his cultivation art to the 3rd realm. He had no intention of slowly cultivating on his own. Any leftover experience would go toward leveling his summons. After less than 10 days of monster hunting, his total wealth barely topped 3 gold coins. That included copper coins from monster drops, plus the market value of basic materials looted. 3 gold coins equaled 30,000 copper coins. That was actually a substantial sum. Most newly awakened summoners could not earn even 1 gold coin in 10 days. Treatment for his mother was free. Aoki City covered all medical costs for everyone injured in the recent attack. From that perspective, Great Xia's governance system worked quite reasonably. Still, one could never have too much money. High-tier skills, breakthrough materials, purchasing and refining cultivation arts, all required vast sums of gold for rapid growth. Not to mention various pieces of equipment. Everyone dreamed of enjoying abundant resources and a comfortable life. Unfortunately, Jiang Sun's current finances could not support such luxuries. That said, he planned to make full use of his private secret realm. He closed his status panel and quietly thought through his options. Xiao Sun. A familiar voice drifted to his ears. It was his mother. Her complexion was frighteningly pale, her lips cracked and dry. Her gaze was unfocused as she slowly turned her head to observe her surroundings. Where is Xiao Xiao? She is resting over there. Jiang Sun turned, took his mother's hands, and gestured toward where his sister lay. Su Xiaolan struggled to roll over so she could look. Moving proved extremely difficult. A person with intact legs could shift their whole body in coordination, yet without her lower limbs, every movement cost her great effort. Jiang Sun supported her and helped her turn. Her voice held urgency. Is your sister all right? Was she hurt? She is fine, only minor scrapes. She has already received treatment. Do not worry. Thank goodness. Only then did Su Xiaolan sense something crucial was missing from her body. She tried to move her legs and felt nothing at all. She pulled back the blanket and stared down at her lower body. Empty space met her eyes. My legs. Jiang Sun opened his mouth, yet found no words. Mom, please hold on. Doctors said limbs can be regenerated if we find a healer with epic, rank restoration skills. I will find one, I promise. Su Xiaolan stared blankly for a moment. Though only a life-class professional, she understood exactly how rare epic, rank healing abilities were. She had never even met someone who wielded such power, let alone hire them. She took her son's words as comfort. What would become of her life now? Without legs, she could hardly go to work in a wheelchair. Grief settled over her. Her 2 children still needed care, and now she had become a burden to them. What would they do? Do you know what talent I rolled when I awakened? Jiang Sun blinked in surprise. I never told you. My talent is home, style flavor. It boosts food effects by 20% and carries an unquantifiable calming mental effect. Su Xiaolan spoke in a light tone. Relying only on cooking, progress was slow. I am still stuck at first order. After reaching first order, the boost rose to 25%. You chose the summoner class. I have never asked about your talent. From now on, our family will depend on you. Su Xiaolan fell silent for several seconds. I know summoners rely entirely on how strong their summons are. How good are yours? Jiang Sun saw the worry weighing on his mother. She was fretting over their future livelihood. He decided to give her a surprise. Seeing no one nearby, he held her hand and activated his secret realm teleportation ability. In an instant, both vanished from the hospital ward. Root of First Sprout Secret Realm, 5th Layer. Jiang Sun held his mother in his arms as they materialized in this place. He let her take in the surroundings for a while before he spoke. Mom, surprise. Where are we? Su Xiaolan asked in astonishment. This is a secret realm I obtained. Do you remember the city-wide announcements about cleared hidden events inside the First Sprout Secret Realm? I do. My co-workers and I once wondered who had accomplished such feats. The person who completed that string of hidden events is your eldest son. You? Really you? Can a summoner be this powerful? Shock and faint disbelief colored her voice. It was time to show his true strength. He activated summoning art and called forth his 2 companions. Iron sphere materialized out of thin air. The dark, gold sphere hovered mid-air, golden patterns glinting in soft light. Deep, heavy thuds echoed from within it, like the beat of a giant heart. Salted fish also appeared. Its long body shimmered with golden scales. It floated nimbly through the air and circled Jiang Sun playfully. These are your summoned creatures? That's right. Both are gold rank. This is the power that let me clear the hidden events of the First Sprout Secret Realm. 2 gold, rank combat summons. Both of them are built for battle. Son, are you pulling my leg? Pinch me. I need to know if I am dreaming. He did not pinch her. Instead, he guided the 2 summons close so she could examine them thoroughly. So, Mom, I want you to manage this secret realm for me. I intend to fully develop its resources. Su Xiaolan well understood how valuable a secret realm was. She once knew a fellow chef who spent more than 10 years barely advancing to first order by cooking. By chance, he acquired a planting-oriented secret realm. Using its income, he hired combat professionals to hunt monsters for him. In less than a year, he reached third order, and his whole family moved to a higher-tier floating city. After processing this overwhelming news, Su Xiaolan finally accepted that her son owned a private secret realm. Xiao Sun, what can be done inside this place? We can go over the details later. First we head back. I will buy you a wheelchair, and then we can plan everything. Just know I can provide a good life for our family. You will never need to work again. The pair flickered and reappeared in the hospital ward. Jiang Xiaoxiao still slept. Traumatized by the disaster, she was utterly exhausted. Jiang Sun let her rest undisturbed. Much later, Jiang Xiaoxiao woke up. Jiang Sun brought his mother and sister home. Before returning, They visited a shopping mall and bought a wheelchair. In this world, wheelchairs counted as special, great equipment. Once equipped, it could be operated with mana, granting his mother far greater mobility. Once his mother and sister were settled at home, Jiang Sun headed out. He opened his system interface and messaged Zhao Taizhan from his friend list. Elder Zhao, are you free? I have a major matter to discuss with you. The reply came swiftly. Second floor of the guild hall. Come whenever you like. When Jiang Sun arrived at the Summoners Guild, Zhao Taizhan sat on the second floor flipping through a yellowed hand, copied manuscript. Seeing Jiang Sun enter, the old man closed the book, took off his glasses, and smiled. You never visit without a reason. Speak. The application for your yellow grade cultivation art is still being processed. It cannot be rushed. The guild leader has already submitted the paperwork. Jiang Sun stepped inside, shut the door, and faced Zhao Taizhan. Elder Zhao, I want to propose something. Would you be interested in a business partnership? Oh, what kind of business? The Aoki Summoners Guild can support you directly. Why do you speak of business between us? Direct handouts will not last. A formal business cooperation is more reliable for long-term development. Then tell me what this venture entails. Jiang Sun held nothing back. He was registered with the guild, and Zhao Taizhan had always treated him well. I hold full ownership over the First Sprout Secret Realm. Zhao Tieshan's hand froze mid-air, his cheerful smile fading. What did you say? The First Sprout Secret Realm, the trial ground for new awakeners. I know of First Sprout. Our city's instance has just unlocked its third layer and is still active. Can you truly control that one? Not that public instance. I mean the root of First Sprout, the original source secret realm corresponding to it. I obtained it by chance, as a reward for clearing all hidden events across its 5 layers. Zhao Taizhan swallowed hard. So those public announcements were about you? You were the one completing those hidden events? Yes. The secret realm core acknowledged you as its master? Yes. The entire secret realm belongs to you personally? Yes. Zhao Taizhan opened and shut his mouth several times. How complete is your control? Total. Resources, monsters, terrain. I can bring people inside and carry items out. Zhao Tieshan's fingers trembled. He shakily picked up his teacup, took a sip, and set it back down. It was obvious how agitated he was. He knew exactly how priceless a secret realm was. His mind raced rapidly. Suddenly he stood, paced 3 circles across the office, and slammed his palm heavily against the table. The powerful strike reverberated through the room. Crack! The teacup jumped, spilling tea across the wooden surface. Do you realize what you were saying? A secret realm under complete personal control. You alone could supply resources for an entire combat regiment. Jiang Sun was startled by his reaction. He knew secret realms were valuable, yet he had not expected Zhao Taizhan to grow so excited. You have truly struck incredible fortune. Fewer than 1 in 10,000 people across all of Great Xia hold a private secret realm. Zhao Taizhan forced himself back into his chair. Yet it also brings great challenges. Developed well, it generates endless wealth. Mismanaged, it serves as nothing more than extra storage space. You must already have a plan, since you sought me out. Lay it out. My realm supports farming, livestock raising, and mining. But I lack trustworthy personnel and stable sales channels. That is why I turned to you. Zhao Taizhan narrowed his eyes and studied Jiang Sun. You want the guild to handle its development? Exactly. My personal capacity is limited. I have no experience or connections for secret realm exploitation. Recruiting farmers required connections. Specialized growers were needed for seeds and agricultural techniques, and breeders for livestock. If Jiang Sun handled all of that himself, he would have no time left to farm universal experience points. That would be sacrificing his greatest advantage for trivial gains, something he would never do. His core strength lay in universal experience points. Though he grew powerful slowly, experience could be accumulated over time. Jiang Sun understood that owning a full secret realm meant little without family backing or influence. Trying to develop it alone would be nearly impossible. Partnering with a reliable force allowed rapid profit generation. The Summoners Guild was an ideal choice. Genuine support and hardship outweighed superficial favors. For the guild, this opportunity was far more than mere assistance. It was a lifeline. What exactly do you expect the guild to do? Jiang Sun paused for a few seconds. The guild will manage development, maintenance, security, and sales. I provide the secret realm and receive a share of the profits. So you intend to be a hands-off owner. What profit split do you propose? Zhao Taizhan brought up the most critical point. Even though Jiang Sun was Aoki City's most promising summoner, the guild ought to nurture his growth. Still, Zhao Taizhan believed clear accounts prevented future conflict. He wished to avoid cracks in their partnership. 70-30 split, Jiang Sun answered. He felt a flicker of nervousness afterward. 70% for himself? Was he asking for too much? Would this drive Zhao Taizhan away? Zhao Taizhan fell into quiet thought and sipped his tea. Jiang Sun's heart beat anxiously. Then Zhao Taizhan set down his cup and smiled at him. Agreed. Really, you heard me. The guild takes full responsibility for everything. You only collect your earnings. The guild keeps 30%. Jiang Sun thought he had misheard. Elder Zhao, is 30% not too little for you? Won't you reconsider? It is plenty. Zhao Taizhan waved a hand, his smile broadening. Boy, do not underestimate the total output of a fully functional private secret realm. In some higher-tier main cities, secret realm auctions are regularly held. Usually, the transaction price equals 20% of the total proceeds, but you offered the guild a 30% cut right off the bat. That counts as you making a real contribution to the guild. Hearing this, Jiang Sun thought, damn, can I still change my offer now? I got burned from my lack of experience. Old Zhao paused for a moment and went on. I agreed not only because I know exactly how valuable this place is. It is also because we have waited for decades and finally found a hope that can turn the Summoners Guild's fortunes around. Helping you grow quickly means helping the Aoki City Summoners Guild. So you do not need to overthink this. Jiang Sun looked into Zhao Tieshan's aged eyes and suddenly did not know what to say. Zhao Taizhan did not wait for his reply. He held up one finger. But mark my words. This matter must stay strictly confidential. The people I pick can be fully trusted, but you must also keep it to yourself. Before a prodigy matures, they are vulnerable to misfortune. This world is far from peaceful. I understand. Tell me exactly what lies inside the secret realm and what resources are available. I will start making preparations. Jiang Sun gave a general account of the initial Bud Secret Realm's terrain, resource distribution, and monster placements. Zhao Taizhan jotted notes in his notebook, occasionally pressing for finer details. The more he listened, the brighter his eyes grew. When Jiang Sun finished speaking, 2 full pages of dense notes filled the notebook. Good, I have a clear picture now. He closed the notebook. Give me 3 days to get ready. Come find me at the guild 3 days from now. All right. As Jiang Sun reached the doorway, Zhao Taizhan called out to him from behind. Jiang Sun. Zhao Taizhan held his teacup without turning around. Today is the happiest day I have had in decades. Jiang Sun froze for a second. Thank you, old Zhao. Stepping out of the guild gates, he stood on Tiangong Street. Crowds streamed past. Some hurried along carrying gear, some squatted by the roadside setting up stalls, others rushed about scrambling for their daily meals. Every face showing haste. Yet suddenly, the world did not feel so bleak anymore. He had new things to look forward to. Next came his own improvement and breaking through to the first tier. He needed to grow stronger as fast as he could so he could cure his mother. That same night, he brought his mother and younger sister into the initial Bud Secret Realm. The sky within the secret realm stayed bright. Strangely, night here only dimmed the light slightly. True darkness never fell. Lush green grass stretched out, and all kinds of small animals roamed about unhurriedly. Streams wound across the land, and low rolling hills rose in the distance. The air smelled fresh, mixed with scents of grass and damp earth. Uncle A Sheng remained on the first layer. His farmland had expanded greatly. Tender green shoots had sprouted in parts of the fields. Jiang Sun had no idea where Uncle A Sheng had gotten the seeds. Sensing new arrivals, Uncle A Sheng walked over. Jiang Sun introduced his mother and sister. Uncle A Sheng greeted them warmly. Jiang Xiaoxiao stood in the secret realm, gazing at mountains, waters, and trees, filled with curiosity for everything around her. Brother, does all of this really belong to you? Yes. It is this huge. Sure is. This is only the first layer. There are 4 more layers above. See how awesome your brother is. Jiang Xiaoxiao spun in a circle on the spot, then darted off running. She sprinted fast, like a rabbit freed from a long, locked cage. Su Xiulan sat on a flat stone, watching Jiang Xiaoxiao dart about in the distance, gazing at the streams and mountains. Beholding this world that belonged to her son, Jiang Sun stood beside her, keeping her quiet company. Jiang Sun had considered letting his mother and sister live here permanently. But his sister still needed to attend school, and his mother had her own social connections outside. Though safety would be far more guaranteed here, people ought not to live cooped up like caged birds. Everyone had their own life and their own path to walk. As a compromise, Jiang Sun granted Uncle A Sheng partial secret realm teleport permissions. Uncle A Sheng set a teleport anchor near their family home. When family members wished to teleport in, they would trigger the anchor, and Uncle A Sheng would activate the transfer. This arrangement granted his mother and sister freedom even when Jiang Sun was absent, while maximizing their safety. After a long while, Su Xiaolon spoke. "This place is quite nice." Jiang Sun murmured a response. Jiang Xiaoxiao's laughter drifted over from far away. Uncle A Sheng hit it off well with his mother. Though Uncle A Sheng used to be a combat class professional, he now behaved much like an old farmer. His mother, being a cook, knew a great deal about ingredients and grain crops. The two elders quickly found common ground to talk about. Seeing he had no immediate business to attend to, Jiang Sun decided to go take care of his own matters. Jiang Xiaoxiao was chasing a three-eyed rabbit, determined not to give up the pursuit. Let her chase. If she caught it, it could be dinner. The only pity was that with all the recent upheaval at home, Jiang Sun had not gotten the chance to flick his sister on the forehead. Ugh, his fingers itched to do it. In a flash, he arrived on the 5th layer. The 5th layer served as an auxiliary cultivation zone. He needed to set up some living amenities here. Right now it was completely bare, forcing him to sit straight on the ground whenever he cultivated. It did carry a certain Taoist aesthetic, but Jiang Sun was no Taoist sage. He barely even cared for traditional cultivation. He preferred pouring in universal experience points. No matter what realm barriers or skill proficiency requirements stood in his way, he would max them out directly. Jiang Sun made up his mind. If he ever needed a Taoist title, he would call himself Taoist Pour It On. He came beneath the Yuan gathering steel and sat down on the ground. He shifted his hips a little to find a comfortable position. Every time he stepped onto this layer, his whole body felt revitalized. Even the air differed from the outside world. Drawing it into his lungs cleared his mind instantly. His entire body felt as though immersed in warm water. His pores opened wide, and comfort nearly made him sigh out loud. This place, he smacked his lips. Wonderful. Time to cultivate. Actual traditional cultivation was out of the question. He would just flood his realm with universal experience points to stay comfortable. It occurred to him that the secret realm description had mentioned this layer boosted cultivation efficiency, but the system had never specified exactly how great the boost was. Wait, when I flood my techniques with universal experience points, does that not count as cultivating? Why did I get no efficiency bonus when I broke through to the 1st and 2nd levels last time? Did I use it wrong somehow? What could the reason be? Should I try genuine cultivation for a bit? Better not. A few days earlier, right after obtaining his cultivation technique, he had attempted normal practice and nearly driven himself crazy. With his natural aptitude, regular cultivation advanced at a glacial pace. Maybe the acceleration effect needed to be manually activated? He touched the Yuan gathering steel with his fingertip and a system prompt appeared. Yuan gathering steel draws in roaming primal energy to raise primal energy density on the 5th layer. Cultivation here grants a 70% speed boost, effective only for the 1st tier. Higher tiers receive diminishing returns. Accelerated cultivation consumes primal energy faster. The acceleration effect will shut down automatically when primal energy density drops too low. Activate acceleration. Damn, so there was a switch this whole time. He had not read the fine print before. He never imagined this feature had to be manually turned on. Jiang Sun had thought this secret realm feature was all show and no substance. Now he realized the fault lay entirely with him. Without hesitation, he enabled accelerated cultivation. He wanted to test whether this 70% cultivation speed boost would apply when he took shortcuts using Universal Experience Points. Universal Experience Pool 14600. First, raise his technique realm. Advancing basic summoning art from 2nd to 3rd level required 2,000 Universal Experience Points. Pour the points straight in. 600 Universal Experience Points. Basic summoning mind art advances from 2nd level to 3rd level. Summon beasts gain a 15% boost to all attributes. Constitution plus 10. Unlock skill, Life Guardian. Huh? Something felt off. It was supposed to cost 2,000 Universal Experience Points. Why did it only deduct 600? Had the observation system glitched? The observation system never glitched. More likely Jiang Sun's own brain had short-circuited. Evidently, the cultivation acceleration had taken effect. Flooding power with universal experience points did count as cultivation after all. Made sense. Even though it was not orthodox cultivation, it was still a form of advancement. Who said enlightenment, style power infusion was not real cultivation? Since the observation system recognized it, that was all that mattered. Thinking back, Jiang Sun wanted to slap himself. If he had known this effect required manual activation, he could have saved plenty of universal experience points during his earlier breakthroughs to the 1st and 2nd levels. Curse it. The seasoned hunter had gotten nipped by the bird. As his technique advanced, warm vital energy surged from his chest, traveling up his spine, across his shoulders, and down the insides of his arms. Warmth spread across his wrists as the Jingxiu acupoint opened. Next came Taiyuan, near the base of his thumbs. Then Yuji. A tingling sensation filled his palms, like clenching and unclenching his fists. Finally Xiaoshang. All 4 acupoints were unlocked. His technique officially reached the 3rd level, granting him the new skill Life Guardian. Life Guardian Bronze. Grade. Your summoned beasts sense their master needs protection. They generate a permanent protective barrier for you. Barrier value equals 20% of the combined final health of all your summoned beasts. Refreshes every 3 minutes. Whoa, the skill description sounded like it was mocking him. Who is weak? You are the weak one, and so is your whole family. Within the observation world, people could practice the same techniques yet end up with wildly different skills and bonuses. All kinds of strange effects could manifest. This skill drastically raised Jiang Sun's survivability. After applying all modifiers, Iron Sphere's health stood at 6440, and Salted Fish's health reached 2760. Combined, they yielded a barrier of 1840 hit points. Granted, it was not huge, less than his own health pool. Still, it persisted permanently and refreshed every 3 minutes. He opened his eyes and summoned Iron Sphere. The dark, gold sphere hovered in mid-air. The steady thud of an internal heartbeat echoed out, beat after beat. Come on, show me the new trick. With a thought, a pale golden film peeled off Iron Sphere's surface and drifted over to wrap around Jiang Sun's body. He glanced down at the back of his hand. The membrane was thin, barely visible, yet when he pressed against it, he could feel an energy layer clinging against his skin. Fascinating. It did not hinder movement in the slightest, and it offered full body coverage. He thought it over and dared not let Salted Fish strike him. His frail body might not survive the blow. He picked up a small stone from the ground and tossed it lightly against the back of his hand. The stone slid off the barrier. He grabbed a larger stone and threw it with force. It still bounced away. He felt no pain whatsoever. Pretty interesting. Should I try slamming into a wall? Nah, forget it. Unlike Iron Sphere, he had no death wish. He practiced dismissing and reforming the barrier with his will. Controlling it felt intuitive. He would keep it active permanently from now on, a lifesaver. He wasted no more time. While the cultivation acceleration remained active and experience points remained in reserve, he kept going. Checking his universal experience balance, 14,000. Not enough to upgrade his summoned beast quality tiers. What should he improve? Jiang Sun was already level 9. Both of his summoned beasts remained at level 1. He would spend universal experience points to raise their levels. Level ups brought attribute growth. Though less dramatic than quality, tier upgrades, each level added power, and the gains stacked up considerably. Iron Sphere and Salted Fish were far too under-leveled. Fortunately, their gold grade quality gave them solid base stats. Leveling them up would make them even stronger. He also wanted to run an important test. Would the cultivation acceleration bonus apply when leveling summoned beasts? He pulled up Iron Sphere's status panel and checked its experience bar. Alright, time to feed you. He diverted points from his experience pool and poured them in. Summon Beast A Iron Sphere LV.1 LV.2 180 Universal Experience Points. Great, the test succeeded. The 70% acceleration bonus did apply. He remembered reading that normally a gold grade Iron Sphere required 600 experience points to level up, more than what a summoner needed for their own level ups. With the acceleration bonus, the cost dropped to 30% of the original amount. That was fantastic. It drastically cut down his total universal experience point consumption. Alright, keep going. LV. 2 LV.3, 546 universal experience points. LV.6, LV.7, 3164 universal experience points. After pouring in the final batch of points, the thudding heartbeat inside Iron Sphere reverberated through the air. Thump, 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 thump. Jiang Sun opened its status panel. Iron Sphere LV.7, HP, 5628, Attack, 563, Defense, 804. Its base health was 5,628. After the summoning, enhancement doubling and multiplied by his technique's 1.15 passive bonus. It reached over 12,900 hit points, nearly 13,000 health. He blinked in surprise. Was that correct? Back in school, basic theory lessons had taught him that a first-tier early stage warrior in full top-tier gear only had 5 to 6,000 health. Here he was, a summoner, with a level 7 summoned beast boasting 13,000 health. That was absurdly powerful. If gold-grade beasts were this formidable, what about platinum, diamond, epic and legendary grades. Would they end up crushing planets and felling gods? Wow, Jiang Sun could only marvel. He patted Iron Sphere contentedly. A thought transmitted from the creature. Tell me who to smash. My mighty hammer is ready to strike. Even after leveling up, its recklessly bold personality stayed unchanged. 48 experience points remained. Not enough to raise Iron Sphere further. He turned toward Salted Fish. Salted Fish floated lazily nearby. Its long fish-shaped body swayed gently in the air. Its golden scales glinted with tiny flecks of light under the fifth layer's dim glow. Jiang Sun looked at Salted Fish, which no longer looked quite so listless. Something still felt a little off. Quit moping over there. You will get your share too. He poured all his remaining universal experience points into Salted Fish's levels. Summon Beast Salted Fish LV.1 LV.2 180 universal experience points. LV.2 LV.3 546 universal experience points. LV.4 LV. 5 1654 universal experience points. That was as far as the points would take him. His universal experience pool was completely drained. He opened its status panel. Salted Fish LV.5, HP, 2124, Attack, 566, Defense, 212. Its attack sat at 566. After skill, based doubling multiplied by his technique passive, it hit over 1300 attack power. Stacked with skill multipliers, this thing might let him run roughshod over most first-tier foes. His technique had advanced. Iron Sphere reached level 7, Salted Fish level 5. He had burned through nearly all his universal experience points. Both summoned beasts had grown substantially stronger. Iron Sphere gained far more durability, and Salted Fish's offensive power surged dramatically. He stood up and brushed imaginary dust off his clothes. Enough for now. It was time to attempt his tier breakthrough. When Jiang Sun exited the secret realm, broad daylight had arrived. In Aoki City's City Lord Manor, disaster, relief work proceeded at full pace. Ruined streets and broken building walls still stood, though crews had cleared away some of the wreckage. Jiang Sun's home had escaped damage. Yet word circulated that the City Lord Manor planned to redevelop this old town district, redesigning buildings and generating them through the observation system. Wait a minute, that sounded just like demolition and redevelopment tropes from stories. Jiang Sun had not seen the specific policies and had no idea how the process would work. Still, from his 10 years of understanding of the great Xia of this world, the authorities would not exploit ordinary folk. All humanity's floating megacities were brought into existence by the power of the observation system. Long ago, humans earned the right to dwell within them by clearing out monsters inhabiting the floating cities and submitting massive quantities of resources to the observation system. Within these floating megacities, anyone wishing to expand or renovate a building could pay with resources or gold directly to the observation system. Yet first, the original structure had to be cleared away. This gave rise to the architect profession. Architects tore down old buildings, drafted new layouts and appearances, then submitted designs for the observation system to materialize. Word had it this profession paid quite well. Crowds filled the streets. A middle-aged woman carried an oversized shovel, almost as large as an excavator bucket. She shoveled rubble into her storage bag with astonishing speed. Nearby, an elderly man squatted on the curb smoking. He called out toward the rock guard soldiers and cleanup crews. My home is gone. Is the City Lord Manor going to rebuild it for me? If they do not, I will go move into the City Lord Manor. Truly, old men were the same no matter what world you were in. Jiang Sun kept walking toward the city center's promotion hall. All professional, class people came here to break through to higher tiers. Before he even reached the entrance, streams of professionals moved in and out. Passing by, he overheard several young men squatting on the steps chatting. What level are you? Level 8. How about you? Level 7. I cannot advance anymore. I grinded monsters non-stop yesterday and barely gained 1/10 of a level. At least you have it better than me. I have been stuck at the second level of my technique for 2 months. I cannot unlock those acupoints no matter what I try. I have stress, caused blisters all over my mouth. Why not ask a guild instructor for pointers? I did. They told me to take it slow. Take it slow, my foot. I can barely afford to eat. I do not have time to grind away at my technique bit by bit. Listening to these snippets of real-life struggles, Jiang Sun felt all the more grateful for his own unique advantage. Thanks to universal experience points, he could bypass all that tedious grinding. With abundant universal experience, various improvements come as easily as drinking water. What's wrong with being a summoner? Jiang Sun, the man who aspires to become the strongest summoner, is drawing ever closer to his goal. In contrast, ordinary professionals often get stuck on class advancement, stuck on cultivation realm breakthroughs, stuck on skill proficiency, stuck when attempting to advance. That is their daily reality. They get up early every day to slay monsters, grind experience points, go back to cultivate. When they hit a bottleneck, they head to the guild to beg for guidance, then return and keep grinding away at their barriers. Geniuses do exist, but they are extremely rare. There is another method, pouring massive resources into it. Low skill proficiency? Assemble an entire team to support you. Chug mana, restoring potions non-stop, and proficiency can be raised extremely quickly. Sure enough, the age-old principle of talent, companions, methods, and resources holds true once again. Who would have thought that even inside this game, like World, people would struggle over resources? He walked onward along the road toward the city center, taking the chance to observe how Qingmu City had changed. Ever since awakening as a professional, the city had begun to feel strangely unfamiliar to him. Back in school, he could skip classes every day and wander about freely. Now that he had awakened, he no longer had time for aimless strolls. The advancement hall stood right beside the central plaza. Its gray-white facade made it one of the tallest buildings in Qingmu City. Its gray, white stone walls bore a huge metal emblem embedded above the main entrance. Two crossed swords cradling a towering spire. This was the symbol of Guanlan. When he first saw this symbol at school, his teacher had explained that the two swords represented combat, and the spire symbolized evolution, constant upward ascent. Jiang Sun privately thought otherwise. It looked just like some guild emblems from the online games of his past life. Who would have guessed that the low-key Guanlan faction also had such a dramatic flair? The entrance to the advancement hall was enormous, crowded with coming and going awakeners. Some trundled out carrying heavy gear. Some squatted on the stone steps gnawing jerky made from unknown monster flesh. Others chatted animatedly with companions about monsters they had fought the previous day. A small group huddled together nearby. At their center, a portly man clutched a paper talisman, arguing with another person, his face flushed bright red. 100,000 copper coins for a first-order barrier breaking talisman? Are you robbing people? Do you even realize how much 100,000 copper coins is? That's 50 whole gold coins, damn it. The fat man's voice boomed, drawing stares from passers-by. The man opposite him remained unruffled and replied calmly. If you think it's too expensive, go hunt one yourself. Right now there are no more than 10 of these talismans in all of Qingmu City. If you don't want it, plenty of others will. This benefit only became available after the Primal Sprout secret realm upgraded. Before this, you could only buy them from other floating cities, and they cost even more there. The fat man's face turned even redder. Anyone could tell he desperately wanted the talisman, most likely trapped by his first-order advancement quest. Unfortunately, his purse could not keep up with his wishes. His body might be heavy, but his wallet was completely empty. Jiang Sun looked away and stepped through the main doors. The hall was spacious, easily able to hold 200 or 300 professionals. In the center hung a giant screen, like ranking boards scrolling through announcements of successful class advancements for every occupation. A dense crowd stood beneath it, craning their necks to read the updates. Their expressions ranged from envy and frustration to genuine joy for friends. Service counters for each occupation lined one wall. A queue of more than a dozen people waited at the warrior counter, several murmuring quietly among themselves. I've attempted the third trial of my advancement quest 3 times already. That boss chops away half my health with every single strike. I simply cannot withstand the damage. How much defense do you have? I've maxed out my gear for over 800 defense. 800 still isn't enough. Either boost your health further, or improve your technique and max out evasion. Clearly this was a seasoned contender attempting to advance from first order to second order. The mage counter had an even longer queue, stretching almost all the way back to the entrance. A young woman at the front clenched her fists, looking tense, muttering formulas under her breath. Her mana circuit calibration sounded oddly like high school exam problems. Jiang Sun scanned the hall. He found the summoner counter. It sat tucked in the far corner, completely deserted. The staff member was a middle-aged man leaning back in his chair, sleeves tucked in, his head nodding forward repeatedly. He was not merely dozing, he was sound asleep. Jiang Sun disapproved of someone being even more idle than himself. That simply would not do. He walked over and called out sharply, "Hey there, wake up, you can't sleep sitting like that." His shout nearly gave the man a heart-stopping fright. He jolted and tumbled right out of his chair. People at nearby counters turned their heads to see what had happened. What was going on? Had the long, abandoned summoner counter finally gotten a visitor? Zhong Deng, the man behind the counter, blinked awake, scrambled back into his seat, and stared at Jiang Sun with a deeply aggrieved look. Young man, I have to say something. Have you no consideration for others? Why would you scare a person broad daylight? Frightening someone can give them quite a shock. Jiang Sun had not expected such a strong reaction. The man was evidently easily startled. My bad. I'm here for class advancement. You were sleeping so deeply I couldn't rouse you, so I tried to jolt you awake. Shoo, go amuse yourself elsewhere. Hardly anyone picks summoner these days. Don't come here wasting my time. The man genuinely could not believe anyone would choose the summoner class. It's true. I am a summoner. I awakened only a few days ago, and I've come for my first order advancement trial. Look, here is my summoned beast. As he spoke, he summoned the iron orb. Summoner. Unique summoning light flickered, and the orb materialized hovering in mid-air. Well, would you look at that? An actual new summoner. The man sized up Jiang Sun and the floating orb as though observing some rare oddity. All right. It's been half a year since a new summoner showed up for the advancement trial. Thank goodness, my job is safe. He sat bolt upright, brushed dust off the countertop, pulled up his interface, and continued. Your name? Jiang Sun. The man tapped on his panel to enter Jiang Sun's information. Have you met all preconditions for advancement? Absolutely. I'm level 9, and I satisfy the cultivation realm requirements as well. How long ago did you awaken? About 10 days ago. The man's hands froze mid-motion. How long ago? 10 days ago. What's wrong, sir? Jiang Sun wore an innocent yet smug expression, one that practically screamed, praise me now. The man looked thoroughly displeased. He had been ready to offer compliments, only to be put off by the boy's cocky demeanor. Still, he could not ignore a prodigy advancing so rapidly. He stared at Jiang Sun with a pained look on his face. After opening and closing his mouth a few times, he finally forced out a reply. Very well, you show promise. Instead of immediately walking him through the advancement procedure, he leaned back and sighed. Jiang Sun, do you understand just how difficult the summoner's first order advancement trial is? My post stays this quiet because fewer than 10 people chose summoner across this entire year, and not a single one has passed the first order trial yet. You're attempting this merely 10 days after awakening? Wouldn't you rather go back and build more foundation? Achieving an S rank or higher evaluation in the solo trial unlocks potential hidden class options. Despite being annoyed by Jiang Sun's attitude, Zhong Deng took his work seriously and offered earnest warnings. Jiang Sun shook his head. No need. I'm plenty strong. Very well then. Let me explain. The Summoner First Order Advancement Trial takes place inside a solo secret realm with 3 stages. Perhaps out of professional duty, or simply because there were no other visitors, they had plenty of time to talk. Over at the Warrior Counter, staff skipped such detailed explanations and sent candidates straight into trials after logging their information. Stage 1. Combat Power Assessment. You and your summoned beast must defeat trial monsters within the time limit. This stage tests raw damage output. The monsters here have extremely high health pools. Stage 2. Survival Assessment. 5 successive waves of high-attack monsters will assault you. Survive for 5 minutes without falling, and you clear this stage. Stage 3. Boss Battle. This evaluates overall combat capability for you and your summons. You will face a level 9 boss, rank monster. Your summoned beast's damage and durability, along with your command skill, are all put to the test. Holding out for 5 minutes grants you at minimum a B rank evaluation. You must earn B rank or higher on all 3 stages to complete the trial. He finished speaking and eyed Jiang Sun, expecting the difficulty to sink in. Surely a level 9 boss, rank foe would intimidate this youngster. You've heard how tough this is. No summoner has succeeded all year. Are you certain you want to attempt it right now? Jiang Sun mentally ran through his assets. Iron Orb was level 7, boasting 13,000 health and 1,300 attack in actual combat. Against Stage 1 monsters, Crushing Strike would crush most foes in a few blows, and Salted Fish lurked unseen providing backup. Survive 5 minutes in Stage 2? Even standing perfectly still, few monsters could break through Iron Orb's defenses. Plus its flight speed made it nearly unmatched among first-order entities. That posed no real threat. As for the level 9 boss in Stage 3, with 20 to 30,000 health, Iron Orb could fight it one-on-one, and Salted Fish would offer long-range support. After finishing his mental calculations, Jiang Sun grew even more confident. He was feeling quite cocky. I want to attempt it absolutely. This advancement quest is nothing. I've got it in the bag. Zhong Deng sighed internally. All his warnings had gone unheeded. Advancement trials could be retried, so he might as well let the boy learn a humbling lesson and curb his overconfidence. Just as Zhong Deng prepared to activate the trial portal, Jiang Sun brought up another topic. By the way, sir, I've heard that after the Primal Sprout Secret Realm upgraded, first, Order Barrier, breaking talismans started appearing. How significant is their effect inside trial realms? The first, Order Barrier, breaking talisman? I heard from the Warrior Guild Guide it lowers overall trial difficulty by 20%, reducing all monster attributes by 20%. It works extremely well. Why? Do you happen to possess one? Just curious. I don't have anything like that. What are they selling for on the market these days? Jiang Sun still had a first, Order Barrier, breaking talisman sitting in his inventory. Against monsters below first, Order, he saw no use for it. Why keep an unused item when he could sell it for coin and buy higher rank skills? Since the advancement hall handled these talismans, the staff member would know the current market value. Prices at auction, they start at 450,000 copper coins. When major guilds or official buyers bid, they can sell for as high as 700,000 copper coins. Jiang Sun nodded. That was quite a substantial sum. Before he awakened, his whole family's total yearly living expenses amounted to roughly 100,000 copper coins, equivalent to about 10 gold coins. Selling one talisman would make him rich. Money is so tight. If I could afford one of those talismans, I might even pull off an SSS rank evaluation. He pretended to be short, funded while subtly boasting in front of Zhong Deng. Zhong Deng rolled his eyes. Enough idle chatter. Are you starting the trial or not? Yes, right now. Very well, I will activate it. Zhong Deng tapped away on his interface. I'm opening the portal. He stood and walked to a metal door behind the counter, pressing his palm against the sensor panel beside it. The metal door slid open, revealing a pale, blue teleportation gateway. Step through, and you will enter the trial's secret realm. Be careful. You cannot voluntarily exit the trial realm. Either clear the trial, or get ejected once you fall in battle. Jiang Sun walked up to the portal and glanced back with a grin. Don't worry, Zhong Deng. Just wait for my good news. He stepped forward and vanished inside. The teleportation gateway sealed shut behind him. Zhong Deng fumed. Yet Jiang Sun was already gone, leaving no one for him to retort toward. Passing through the portal, Jiang Sun's vision blurred. When his sight cleared, he stood upon a massive circular platform. The platform stretched well over 100 meters across. Looking down from its edges revealed endless empty void. Above, a dream, like starry sky scattered faint starlight, dimly illuminating the platform enough to see everything clearly. Wow, this advancement trial realm is quite the spectacle. A system prompt echoed inside his mind. First, Order Trial, Stage 1, Combat Power Assessment. Defeat all trial monsters within the allotted time. Countdown, 3 o'clock. So he needed to eliminate all monsters within 3 minutes. Right after the prompt, 3 streams of dark, gold light burst from the ground, solidifying into monster silhouettes. The first was a 3-meter tall stone, armored rhinoceros clad in dark, gray rocky plating, thick limbs, and a single sharp horn atop its head. The second was a pitch-black giant scorpion, its stinger glinting purple, plainly laced with potent poison. A direct strike would prove devastating. The third floated mid-air, a gigantic eyeball-shaped monster encircled by tiny swirling blue motes of light. Their stats materialized before his eyes. Elite Stone-Armored Rhinoceros LV.9, Health Points, 7,800 Attack, 500 Defense, 130 Skills, Rock Armor, Passive, Incoming Damage reduced by 30%. Elite Black Crystal Giant Scorpion LV. 9, Health Points, 6,500 Attack, 550 Defense, 120 Skills, Venomous Tail Sting, Attacks Apply Poison, dealing 100 damage per second for 5 seconds. Elite Void-Eye Demon LV.9, Health Points, 2,000 Attack, 580 Defense, 100 Skills, Mental Beam, Single Target Ranged Attack, 3-second cooldown. Mana Barrier, absorbs 800 damage. Reforms 15 seconds after breaking. Good grief, those health totals were certainly designed to test damage output. Worse yet, the Void-Eye Demon regenerated its 800 damage absorbing barrier every 15 seconds. You had to deplete its full health within that window, otherwise the barrier would reform again and again. Ordinary professionals would stand little chance here. For Jiang Sun, however, this presented no real difficulty. A few blows from Iron Orb would settle everything. Before the 3 elite monsters could charge, Iron Orb shot forward. Dark gold light traced an arc as it slammed directly into the stone-armored rhinoceros forehead. Boom. The rhinoceros was sent flying, crashing hard against the transparent barrier lining the platform edge. Rock armor cut incoming damage by 30%, yet Iron Orb still dealt over 5,000 damage per strike, leaving more than 3,000 after mitigation. The rhinoceros staggered back to its feet, dazed. Iron Orb struck a second time immediately. Another heavy crash. After 3 total blows, the stone-armored rhinoceros dissolved into glowing particles. Elsewhere, Salted Fish's water arrow shattered the Void Eye Demon's mana barrier on impact. A second arrow followed instantly, killing it outright. The Void Eye Demon exploded into light and vanished. The Black Crystal Giant Scorpion had been charging full speed toward Jiang Sun. Mid-sprint it noticed both allies were already gone. Its grotesque head tilted in confusion as it glanced around, wondering where its companions had run off to. Before it could make sense of what had happened, Iron Orb blocked its path. Black Crystal Giant Scorpion. Jiang Sun almost felt sorry for it. It's 2-on-1 now. Why don't you just surrender? The Scorpion could not understand his taunts. It snapped its pincers and lunged toward Iron Orb. And that was the end of it. The system notification chimed once more. Stage 1 Combat Power Assessment. Cleared. Time elapsed. 14 seconds. Calculating rating. Final rating. SSS. New regional record set for Stage 1 of the First Order Trial. Trigger regional announcement. Announce anonymously? Anonymous. Definitely anonymous. He paid no further mind to the announcement. Jiang Sun scratched his head. That's it. I thought this would be much harder. It made sense. Level 7 Iron Orb had 1300 attack. The 4.0 damage multiplier of Crushing Strike yielded over 5,000 damage each hit. These level 9 elites with 7 to 8,000 health fell in 2 or 3 strikes. A fresh prompt arrived. First Order Trial Stage 2, Survival Assessment. Resist 5 successive waves of monster assaults for 5 minutes. Countdown, 5 o'clock. As the prompt finished, dark gray 2-meter-wide portals began opening all around the perimeter of the circular platform. Low-pitched snarls echoed out from the light aperture. The silhouettes of the first wave of monsters slowly rose from within it, as if being forced out through a thin membrane. Jiang Sun counted them. 8 in total. Bloodthirsty Werewolf LV.7, normal HP, 1350 attack, 150 defense, 38 skills. Bloodlust, attack power increases by 50% when HP drops below 30%. Iron Beetle LV.7, normal HP, 1350 attack, 150 defense, 50 skills. Carapace, passive, receive damage reduced by 10%. Spine Porcupine LV.7, normal HP, 1350 attack, 180 defense, 30 skills. Spine Launch, ranged attack, 5-second cooldown. All melee type. Jiang Sun scanned the scene, found a safe spot to stay, and let Saltfish float beside him. If any monsters drew near, Saltfish would eliminate them instantly. It's all up to you two. Do your best. The iron sphere let out a low hum, turned into a streak of light, and shot straight into the monster horde. Boom. The first bloodthirsty werewolf was sent flying, dissolving into light particles midair. After landing, the iron sphere spun and charged toward the second target. Unfortunately, the monsters were somewhat scattered. Otherwise, the iron sphere's shock effect could have wiped out a whole group at once. Jiang Sun had figured out the shock radius of the iron sphere, roughly a 2 to 3 meter diameter. Targets outside this range would not be affected. That said, it was not a problem. It moved extremely fast, so fast these melee monsters could not even react. Their attack struck the iron sphere's surface without leaving so much as a scratch. Come on. The iron sphere had an effective defense close to 2,000 at LV.7. These LV.7 ordinary monsters only had over 100 attack power. Trying to break its defense was nothing but a fantasy. The second wave of monsters spawned. The light apertures along the platform's edge lit up again. This time there were nearly half as many more monsters than in the first wave, 12 in total. 3 stood in the back row, swirling blue fireballs in their hands. Fire Wraith LV.8, normal HP, 1600 attack, 200 defense, 46 skills. Fireball, ranged spell attack, for second cooldown. Their fireballs hit the iron sphere, producing faint vibrations, yet nothing more. The iron sphere charged forward through the barrage of fireballs, smashing one mage-type monster after another. Saltfish stayed behind, picking off targets with precise strikes. Third wave, 16 monsters. Instead of lighting up along the edges, the apertures blazed to life across a large area right in the center of the platform. Nearly all the monsters rose simultaneously. Jiang Sun stared. Not bad. They were actually working in coordination. Frontline shield bearers, healer monsters radiating green light in the back, and spellcasters clustered in the middle. Good for you, Guanlan. You are actually quite clever. Stoneskin Guardian LV.8, normal HP, 2000 attack, 180 defense, 80 skills, guard stance, blocks 1 incoming attack for nearby allies, 8-second cooldown. Witheredwood Priest LV.8, normal HP, 1300 attack, 100 defense, 35 skills, heal, restores 600 HP to 1 ally, 6-second cooldown. Stoneskin Guardians held the front line, Fire Wraiths dealt damage from behind, and Witheredwood Priests hid in the rear to heal allies. This formation was easy to crack. Take out the healers first, dispose of the damage dealers next, and the tank-type monsters could simply be kited at will. Saltfish stealthily eliminated the 2 Witheredwood Priests. The Iron Sphere took its time, killing each Fire Wraith one by one. The remaining tanks were trivial to handle. There was no real challenge at all. He had not even needed to give tactical commands. His 2 summons could handle everything on their own, Jiang Sun thought to himself. Fourth wave, 20 monsters. The apertures fell silent for a couple of breaths, then flared back to life at greater speed. The number of apertures doubled, covering almost 1/3 of the platform. From the largest aperture rose a figure twice the size of an ordinary werewolf. Elite, Werewolf Chieftain LV.8 HP, 6800 attack, 520 defense, 130 skills. Wolfpack Call, summons 4 ordinary bloodthirsty werewolves to fight alongside it, 30-second cooldown. Clawrend, next attack deals double damage, 8-second cooldown. The Iron Sphere hammered away. It only took 6 hits to bring the chieftain down, though it took a little extra time. 4 of those strikes had been absorbed by the summoned werewolves. It would have fallen even faster had the chieftain never gotten its skill off. Once the Iron Sphere cleared the 4th wave, a colossal figure revealed itself. Elite E Redhorn Fiend LV.9 HP, 9600 attack, 600 defense, 180 skills. Stomp, stomps the ground violently, dealing area physical damage and knocking surrounding targets back, 10-second cooldown. Great Axe Sweep, swings its stone Great Axe, striking a forward fan-shaped area for double attack damage, 12-second cooldown. Jiang Sun narrowed his eyes. Oh, finally, a real heavyweight. Hope you can take a few more hits. The Redhorn Fiend lowered its massive head. Scarlet eyes swept across its surroundings, searching for a target. It locked onto the Iron Sphere and let out a deep roar, lifting its foot to stomp down. The Redhorn Fiend thought, this tiny thing is not even worth my notice. One stomp will finish it. Little did it know that raw stats spoke for themselves. No matter how huge the body, overwhelming attributes could topple even a mountain. The Iron Sphere had never taken such disrespect. Thanks to Jiang Sun's repeated lectures, it had learned to dodge enemy skills. Even though none of those attacks could pierce its defense, Jiang Sun had kept nagging it. You are a mature, intelligent summon. You have high movement speed, so stop tanking every hit head-on. No more upgrades if you keep doing that. Badgered by Jiang Sun's constant reminders, the Iron Sphere learned to dodge. The endless lectures were too annoying to bear, so it avoided them to keep its peace. Whoosh! The Redhorn Fiend's stomp hit nothing but empty air. The Iron Sphere flew along an arc, evading the stomp, then circled back and smashed straight into the Fiend's hideous face. You do not hit people in the face, but monsters deserve no such courtesy, especially an ugly one like this. Struck hard, the Redhorn Fiend's head snapped backward. It staggered several paces before steadying itself. Roaring in rage, it swung its great axe in a sweeping arc. The Iron Sphere hovered upward to evade, circled behind the monster, and delivered another heavy blow squarely to the back of its skull. A damage number popped up, boosted by critical weak point strike, to roughly 1.5 times normal output. Leaning against the platform edge with folded arms, Jiang Sun watched the Iron Sphere duel the elite monster in leisure. Saltfish floating nearby could not resist firing an extra water arrow. TSK, this elite monster is pretty tough. Through the solid teamwork of the 2 summons, the elite monster perished and dissolved into light particles. System notifications sounded. Second stage, survival test. Cleared, damage taken. 0 fully blocked by Iron Sphere, time elapsed. For minutes 12 seconds. Rating calculating, final rating, SSS. You have broken the first order trial second stage clear record. Trigger regional announcement. Announce anonymously? Anonymous, of course. Could Guanlan just convert these flashy announcements into rewards instead? All this fanfare was useless. He would much rather receive a myth rank skill. Jiang Sun flipped a rude gesture and ignored the prompt. All right, On to the third stage. The voice inside his head paused briefly, then resumed. First order trial, third stage, boss battle, approaching. Please prepare. The entire platform trembled faintly. Ahead in the void, air twisted violently. A mass of dark red flame burst into existence at the platform's center, blazed intensely, then exploded outward. So all that flame was just for a fireworks show. When the fire faded, a nearly 4-meter-tall monster materialized and crashed heavily onto the platform. Its body was covered in dark brown scales, with dark red light seeping through the gaps, as if surging energy flowed beneath its skin. Its head resembled that of a bear, lined with jagged fangs. Sticky saliva dripped from its jaws. It hung its head, huffing and puffing. Puffs of fire spouted from its nostrils with every breath. Boss, Lava Colossus LV. 9 HP, 18500 attack, 735 defense, 189 skills. Molten Surge, unleashes Scorching Heat Wave. Deals 200 fire damage per second to all targets within 5-meter radius for 10 seconds, 25-second cooldown. Crushing Charge, charges head down, dealing double attack damage to the first target in its path and knocking it airborne, 15-second cooldown. Tail Spike Impale, strikes nearby foes with tail spikes, dealing 1.5 times attack damage plus knockback, 8-second cooldown. Reading through the stats, Jiang Sun saw this boss was far stronger than any prior monster. Truly worthy of being a boss. The Iron Sphere's attack stat stood at 1300. With Mountain Shock Strike quadruple multiplier, each blow dealt more than 5,000 damage. Against less than 200 defense, most of its hits landed near true damage. 18,000 plus HP meant the boss would go down in roughly 4 direct strikes from the Iron Sphere. Boss rank monsters possessed considerable intelligence. Instead of attacking immediately after spawning, the Colossus scanned its surroundings. It spotted the 3 hostile figures and locked its gaze on the Iron Sphere, judging it the greatest threat. It held its ground in cautious vigilance. The Iron Sphere seemed uninterested, yet it was hunting for the boss's weak points. Though the boss's skills barely hurt the Iron Sphere, 2 successive skill rotations would kill Jiang Sun if they caught him. Fighting alongside Jiang Sun for so long, the Iron Sphere had picked up his cunning mindset and gradually learned to think for itself. Truly heartening progress. The Lava Colossus moved first. It lifted its head and let out a deafening roar, cracking stone across the platform. Skill Crushing Charge. Driving forward on all fours, it charged the Iron Sphere at high speed. Still slower than the Iron Sphere, but its immense weight made the platform shake with every step. Instead of dodging, the Iron Sphere charged head-on. Dodging is for cowards. Clashing head-on is the true spirit of combat. That stubborn, foolish streak in the Iron Sphere remained unchanged. Boom. Sphere and Colossus collided with a deep, thunderous crash. The Iron Sphere flew backward several meters, tumbling midair before stabilizing. The Lava Colossus fared no better. Its charge was abruptly halted, and it staggered. This monster could actually override the Iron Sphere's knockback resistance. It was indeed powerful. Regaining its spherical form, the Iron Sphere bristled, as if roaring, "How dare you crash into me? Let us see whose head is harder." It charged again. This time it circled to the side. While the Colossus was still off balance, it smashed hard into its knee. Crack. The sound of shattering scales echoed. The Lava Colossus bellowed in agony. Its left leg buckled, dropping it to one knee. Seizing the opening, the Iron Sphere circled behind and landed 2 more consecutive blows. Boom, boom. The Lava Colossus crashed forward, but pushed itself off the ground and unleashed skill Molten Surge. Dark red light burst from between its scales, and waves of scorching heat spread outward. Wrapped in fiery waves, the Iron Sphere felt as though soaking in a warm hot spring. Jiang Sun kept far enough away to avoid the area of effect damage. Saltfish floating beside Jiang Sun looked on in exasperation. Here they were in the middle of a fight, and that Iron Sphere was enjoying a hot bath. Saltfish fired volley after volley of water arrows, cooling things down and snapping the Iron Sphere back to focus. Unfortunately, water meeting fire generated thick steam. After several shots, dense water vapor filled the center of the battlefield. By this point, the Lava Colossus's HP was nearly depleted. Saltfish stopped attacking, not out of mercy, but to avoid accidentally damaging the Iron Sphere. It would be utterly humiliating if the monster could not harm the Iron Sphere. Yet Saltfish nearly drained its HP. Within the thick fog, flashes of the Iron Sphere's characteristic bright light flickered several times. System notification chimed. Third stage, boss battle. Cleared, kill method. Knocked into the void, Time elapsed. 1 minute 58 seconds. Rating calculating. Final rating, SSS. You have broken the first order trial third stage clear record. Overall comprehensive rating being computed. This time the system held off on triggering an announcement. Jiang Sun stood in the center of the platform waiting for settlement. Moments later, new system text appeared. First order trial, comprehensive evaluation. First stage, combat assessment. SSS rank. Second stage, survival assessment. SSS rank. Third stage, boss battle. SSS rank. Jiang Sun's eyes lit up. SSS rank on all 3 stages. The system prompt continued. Please select your class advancement path. Due to your outstanding score, hidden class options have been unlocked for you. Detecting your historically unprecedented overall rating. The probability of rolling high-rarity hidden classes has been greatly increased. Please choose carefully. Historically unprecedented? Could it not throw in some extra tangible rewards? Whoa, hidden classes. A wide grin spread across Jiang Sun's face. Another system message popped up. For achieving maximum rating across the complete first order trial, you are awarded the Newcomer King title. A worldwide announcement will trigger. Announce anonymously? Anonymous was definitely the right call. What caught his attention was the change. Worldwide announcement. Earlier ones had only been regional, limited to Qingmu City. This would broadcast across all of Blue Star. Not only humans, but every species with system panels would receive this notice. Guanlan was practically putting a target on his back. The instant Jiang Sun selected anonymous, the system fired its notification. This world-wide announcement reached every being with a system panel on Blue Star, not just Jiang Sun. Announcement. Congratulations to the anonymous player who has shattered the historical record for the first order trial. All profession holders of this player's race receive a 20% reduction to first order trial difficulty for 10 days. 3 identical announcements echoed in succession. These announcements were not mere text. They were voices ringing directly inside every mind. Impossible to tune out. Qingmu City, Promotion Hall. Uncle Zhongding had just lifted his teacup toward his lips when 3 system messages boomed inside his head. His hand jolted, spilling tea across half the table. A worldwide announcement. He shot to his feet. Staff at nearby service windows stared in shock. A guide from the warrior counter leaned out. Lao Zhang, did you hear that? A worldwide announcement. It has not happened in over a decade. I heard it. No one can tell if it bodes well or ill. Every world-wide announcement brings great upheaval. Peaceful days may be over. Uncle Zhongding sank back down, wide awake, drowsiness gone. Anonymous player, breaking the first order trial historical record. One figure flashed across his mind. The young man who had entered the trial grounds not long ago. Could it be him? He shook his head. Impossible. A summoner, widely regarded as the weakest class, breaking all time records? That sounded absurd. Even so, he did not take chances. He immediately sent a report regarding that summoner's first order breakthrough up the chain of command. Spirit Race Main City, Silverspire City, near the Old Land's Spirit Domain Rift. A massive spatial crack split the sky. Hovering 2,000 meters above the rift hung a huge, translucent polyhedral crystal, shimmering with surging spiritual energy. Forged from silvery, white unknown spirit crystal, it was nearly invisible by day, only seen as faint hazy glow under certain angles. At night it glowed soft silver, like a star hanging in the sky, dreamlike and magnificent. This was Silverspire City, the spirit race's main settlement on Blue Star, their entry point through that colossal spatial rift. Within Silverspire's inner spirit court, 3 crystal spires formed an equilateral triangle supporting a vast domed ceiling. At their center lay a spirit reception pool, its surface mirror, smooth. Streams of silvery text flowed across the water, displaying spiritual messages. Ling Shuang, spirit race consul, stood beside the pool. Silvery, white hair drifted in soft spiritual breezes as she closed her eyes, sensing distant flows of energy. Light footsteps approached from behind. Xingtong hurried into the spirit court. Consul. Xingtong bowed respectfully beside the pool. The world-wide announcement has arrived. Someone has broken the historical record for the first order trial. Ling Shuang turned slowly toward Xingtong. Yes, that record has stood for 200 years, set by a figure from ages past. Which race's profession holder could this be? She spoke half to Xingtong, half to herself, gaze drifting toward the distance. The announcement is anonymous. No identifying information was released by the system. So it could be human, wolf, kind, scale, kind, one of our own spirit race, or any of the countless lesser races. Ling Shuang refocused her gaze. Her ice blue eyes betrayed no emotion. Issue 2 orders. First, send suitable candidates to our promotion halls to clear the first order trial and verify whether our trial difficulty has decreased. Second, activate our full intelligence network. Instruct agents across every city to keep watch over local promotion halls. The anonymous individual's race bears a 20% trial difficulty reduction. That signature cannot be hidden. We must identify them as soon as possible. Understood, Consul. What if it is one of us spirit race? Xingtong asked. If it is ours, a faint smile tugged at Ling Shuang's lips. I shall travel back to Silver Spirit Realm myself to report to the Elder Council. A once, in 300 years genius emerging among us would delight the elders governing the spirit domain. Then we will locate this individual and bring them here. I shall personally oversee their training. And if it is not? Ling Shuang did not answer the question. Xingtong slowly withdrew from the Great Hall, leaving only that figure gazing fixedly at something. Old Land, Silver Main Tribe Territory, Wolf Clan Council Hall. A huge silver, white wolf, far larger than ordinary wolves, lay upon the main seat, half-lidded eyes enjoying a peaceful nap. A world announcement echoed inside his mind. He snorted in irritation, hating being disturbed at such a moment, yet there was nothing he could do to stop Guan Lan's broadcast. He stared at the lines of text floating in his consciousness, seemingly completely indifferent. But those who knew him well understood. The quieter the Wolf King grew, the deeper his thoughts ran. Beneath the hall, several Wolf Clan generals stood with hands at their sides, not daring to make a sound. Apart from the Wolf King, who retained his true wolf form, every other wolf in the hall kept human shapes, only their wolf ears and tails exposed. After a long while, the Wolf King spoke. The first order trial difficulty for the race of the record breaker is reduced by 20% for 10 days. This news cannot be concealed. Send scouts to investigate without delay and find out which faction this genius belongs to. His low voice rumbled like thunder rolling up from deep within his chest. He opened his eyes, a cold glint flashing across his vertical pupils. Report to me the moment you find out. If he belongs to an opposing faction, eliminate him before he grows strong. Only a grown genius counts as a genius. Otherwise, he amounts to nothing. If he is an ally, then we shall see whether this friend knows his place and shows proper respect. The Wolf King bared his sharp fangs in a grim snarl. Truly, the Wolf Clan was born with a bloodthirsty nature. Then we shall offer him friendship. Great Xia Tai Chu Divine City, Council Chamber. 8 figures sat around a circular round table, forming Great Xia's central governing body. A closed-door meeting was underway. Council Speaker Lu Qinzhou occupied the main seat, hands folded on the table, listening to the arguments on both sides. His hair was snow-white, his face lined with age, yet his back remained ramrod straight. Very few of those who first awakened 300 years ago still lived, and he was one of them. He had reached rank 8, Immortal, tier, at level 799, the peak of immortal power, one of humanity's mightiest individuals. Counselor Qin, you had the loudest voice, his roar sending ripples across the surface of water in the cups on the table. 3 months ago, the Spirit Pivot Pavilion already predicted a new secret realm would descend within humanity's sphere of influence. Why have we received no precise location to this day? Are we going to let other races seize it before us? Do you think secret realms are like your bedroom door, ready to open at a push? Xie Yunlan held a teacup, her tone cool and unruffled. Pinpointing their exact location is no simple feat. We cannot simply sit idle. Qin Yu persisted at the top of his lungs. It has been 6 months since we last obtained a grain-producing secret realm. Several or secret realms are nearing resource depletion. If we fail to open new sources of supplies, people will starve. Counselor Jean Mantang flipped through reports and spoke in a steady, unhurried tone. Qin Yu is right. Market prices for cultivation resources have risen 18% this year. Gear, materials, and medicinal supplies are all climbing. The root cause is simple. There are far too few secret realms. He turned toward the speaker. I propose we enact a secret realm lead collection decree. Offer generous rewards for any information regarding secret realms, then deploy battle corps and stronghold guards to clear them and bring them into rapid development. Counselor Han Yin crossed one leg over the other. The decree itself is easy enough to implement. We only need to draw rewards from humanity's national treasury to incentivize informants. But what of those stuck at rank advancement bottlenecks? Statistics from the Spirit Pivot Pavilion show more and more people are trapped trying to break through the first order threshold. Before he could finish speaking, every one of the 8 people in the room froze. The world announcement resounded in all their minds. 3 notifications exploded within their consciousness. The race of the reward recipient receives a 20% reduction to first order trial difficulty for 10 days. Silence hung for roughly 5 seconds. Then Qin Yu slammed his palm against the table, making teacups jump. It has been 10 years since the last system-wide announcement. I will immediately mobilize reserve stronghold guards to attempt the first order trials and confirm whether this anonymous individual is human. He closed his eyes slightly, seemingly communicating with his subordinates through the system chat channel. Han Yin set his leg down, his expression turning grave. Unfortunately, the identity is hidden. Can we trace who it is? He turned towards Xie Yunlan, pavilion master of the Spirit Pivot Pavilion. Xie Yunlan set down her teacup. Her voice was soft yet clear enough for all 8 to hear. We cannot. You all know how Guanlan operates. What it chooses to conceal stays thoroughly hidden. She paused for a moment. How wonderful it would be if this were one of ours. That would resolve the bottleneck plaguing so many stuck at first order advancement. Silence fell over the group as they waited for news. Speaker Lu Qinzhou slowly rose and walked to the window, gazing out over the magnificent Tai Chu Divine City. He spoke quietly. I have a premonition this genius belongs to humanity. The others remained silent. They shared that hope. The first order trial marked the starting line for professional awakeners, yet Guanlan had made it brutally difficult. Many could barely pass, let alone achieve high evaluation scores. Time drifted by. Approximately half an hour later, Qin Yu's eyes lit up. Confirmed. It is one of ours. Only humanity's first order trial secret realm has received the 20% difficulty reduction. Lu Qinzhou said solemnly. This is truly a pillow delivered just as we grew sleepy. We were just discussing the worsening first order bottleneck, and this blessing arrives. This youth is humanity's lucky star. Can we locate which city he is in? No trace can be found. Zhao Wujiu, who had remained quiet until now, spoke up. A lack of clues may not be a bad thing. If we cannot find him, neither can the Abyss cult. In other words, their enemies stood on equal footing. Counselor Chu Hanjiang spoke slowly. Not only the Abyss cult. This announcement echoes across the entire Blue Star. The Blood Moon cult heard it, as did the Spirit, Wolf, Scale, and Feather races. We ought to count ourselves fortunate this young friend chose anonymity. He looked toward Lu Qinzhou. Speaker, I suggest we order every major city to keep watch over their promotion halls. No grand fanfare. Conduct discreet investigations. Once we identify him, we must guarantee his safety. Speaker Lu Qinzhou finally gave his ruling. His tone was calm and steady. Send word to Star Watch. Let them handle this. No other branches are to interfere. Too many hands lead to loose tongues. Star Watch is best suited for this. Their very purpose is safeguarding geniuses. He swept his gaze across the other 7 council members. Set secret, realm matters aside for now. With trial difficulty reduced by 20% for 10 full days, countless young people across Great Xia will break through to first order professional ranks. Our official bodies must match this generosity. Slash prices of first order breakthrough resources by 20%. Jean Mantang. Work out the specific implementation details. Jean Mantang closed his reports. Understood. These are low-tier resources, so the cost will be negligible. We merely need to guard against profiteers, ensuring the benefits truly reach those in need. The speaker nodded and continued. Regardless of the anonymous awakener's identity, Star Watch will take charge. We must shield this youth at all costs, lest he become a target for the Abyss cult or Blood Moon cult. Star Watch headquarters. Star Watch served as Great Xia's genius protection agency. There existed both righteous and evil forces, and Great Xia had been forced to establish it. In the first 100 years after the game descended, heretical cults emerged and began assassinating geniuses of all races. Only later did Great Xia realize why so many prodigies kept dying young. At first, they had allowed professional awakeners to develop freely. Excessive protection could stunt growth. Greenhouse. Raised blooms needed to weather storms to grow into towering trees. Yet after so many gifted lives were cut short, officials launched investigations and uncovered the cult's hidden schemes. Thus Star Watch was founded. Any talent or professional rating of SS, rank or higher was added to the protection registry. Protection operated covertly. The guardians were called secondary stars, and the protected individuals primary stars. Within a windowless dark chamber, a message arrived from Lu Qinzhou. An aged voice echoed out of the shadows. Since the first order trials opened 300 years ago, fewer than 5 people across all Great Xia have obtained an SSS rank evaluation. The last occurred 230 years ago, and that individual is now an 8th order national pillar. Whoever broke this record must have cleared all 3 trials at SSS grade. Regardless of class or innate talent, he qualifies for Star Watch's protection protocols. Activate Star Watch's confidential edict. Thoroughly screen every first order breakthrough across every city. Compile every scrap of evidence here. Dispatch secondary Star agents to all cities. Focus on the 4 divine cities and 12 first-tier major cities promotion halls, yet do not overlook second- and third-tier settlements. Adhere to 3 principles. No direct contact, no intervention, no exposure. Though his first-order breakthrough cannot be fully concealed, we must move fast. Locate him and mask his personal data. While major powers issued orders revolving around this event, deep within the Old Lands lay the Abyss Cult's main temple, a subterranean hall shrouded in darkness, its walls embedded with countless dark, purple crystals casting eerie faint light. Dozens of robed figures knelt in complete silence below the dais. Upon the high platform, a figure wearing a white bone mask spoke slowly. Find him. Kill him before he matures. The robed figures below answered in unison. Their low voices reverberated throughout the hall. Now we return our perspective to Jiang Sun. After the 3 system notifications faded, he curled his lips. What a stingy Guanlan, only granting a title. Why not hand me a divine artifact while you are at it? Truly, one's desires can grow boundless. Besides the title reward, his odds of rolling rare classes had increased substantially. This was the most practical gain. Classes in this world were wildly varied. Guanlan's system ranked them, just like innate talents. SSS, SS, S, A, B, C, D, 7 tiers in total. SSS, ranked classes boasted peerless growth bonuses and combat power. News occasionally reported prodigies unlocking SSS, ranked classes. And now Jiang Sun stood at the class selection phase. Within the trial's secret realm, no monsters remained on the vast circular platform. Instead, 5 colossal statues stood lined up before him, representing his available class options. He examined them one by one patiently. The leftmost was Spirit War Summoner, the most common path for summoners. Its abilities enhanced both summoned beasts and the summoner himself, yet all bonuses remained fairly moderate. Second, Beast, Fusion Summoner. Merge bodies with summoned beasts, sharing attributes and abilities. Combat centered on the summoner, with summoned beasts functioning largely as buff sources. Third, Spirit Support Summoner. Focused on auxiliary power, healing and combat auras for summoned creatures. Fourth, Primal Spirit Summoner. Capable of altering summoning probabilities and greatly raising odds of drawing elemental summoned beasts. Fifth stood a Pitch Black Shadow statue, the hidden option only unlocked for evaluations S, rank, and above. Random hidden classes originated here. Choosing the first 4 would grant a class rank determined by trial performance, capped at S, rank. Generations of great Xia professionals had verified this. SS and SSS, rank classes could only come from random hidden rolls. Picking random hidden class meant total chance. One might strike gold with SSS, rank, or end up stuck with the lowest D rank. Should he gamble? Absolutely. Especially since the system had explicitly boosted his odds of high-tier hidden classes. Passing this up would be foolish. Even if the roll turned out poorly, he still had universal experience. Jiang Sun strode confidently toward the mysterious statue. So you are the gambling option. Let's see what you have to offer. He reached out and touched the statue. The surface felt soft like marshmallow, similar to petting a cat. Not bad texture. System feedback immediately surfaced in his mind. Matching hidden class at random. The dark statue flickered rapidly, cycling through countless different class icons. Matching complete. Congratulations. You have obtained hidden class, Seal of Fate Summoner. Class rating, SSS, rank. Jiang Sun froze for a moment. Whoa, jackpot. SSS, rank. Did Lady Luck fall for my good looks? Summoners were already in niche class, and high-tier summoner classes were extremely rare. He had landed a top-tier hidden variant straight away. Was Guanlan sure there was no mistake? The system gave him no time for doubt. Streams of data flooded into his mind. Seal of Fate Summoner first. Order class features unlocked. 1. Fate Seal Imposition. You may place a Fate Seal on any valid target. Seals can also be applied through attacks from you or your affiliated units. Cannot be dispelled. Persists permanently until target dies or the seal is revoked. 2. Fate Seal Tracking. Sense the position of any target marked with a Fate Seal. 3. Plunder. When a Fate-sealed target perishes, there is a chance to steal some of its attribute points. Fate Seal Conversion. Deaths of Fate. Sealed targets accumulate Fate Seal points. Upon first reaching 10,000 points, you gain an additional summoning slot. Current Fate Seal points, 0/10,000. Jiang Sun read through all 4 traits carefully, a grin spreading across his face. This class seemed tailor-made for him. Combined with universal experience, this could be overpowered. Fate Seals placed unremovable marks on any target. Fate Seal tracking let him trace marked foes wherever they fled. Plunder granted him a chance to gain attribute points from slain enemies. Fate Seal conversion advanced progress toward new summoning slots with every kill. The 4th trait excited him most. He had picked Summoner precisely to farm universal experience efficiently. Yet Guanlan severely limited summoning slots. He only controlled 2 summoned beasts so far. With this class feature, building an army of mythical creatures was now within reach. Jiang Sun grew so excited he nearly let out loud laughter. He composed himself. Wait, this is SSS rank. Where are the corresponding cultivation arts and skills? The system offered no reply. Jiang Sun waited, then pressed again. Guanlan, Guanlan. Does Seal of Fate Summoner come with matching cultivation arts? Seal of Fate Summoner is an unrecorded class. No existing cultivation arts are compatible. Cultivation arts and skill systems must be explored independently by the class holder. Jiang Sun. The SSS rank class was incredible, yet it arrived without inherited arts or skills. It was like receiving a peerless blade without any sword, play techniques, leaving him to swing it blindly. Still, it was not insurmountable. With universal experience, he might derive his own cultivation arts and forge a unique path. Another system prompt appeared. Congratulations, Professional Awakener Jiang Sun. You have advanced to First Order. Level raised to LV.10. For obtaining an SSS, rank hidden class. All attributes plus 100, lifespan plus 50 years, summoning slot plus 1. His class transition was fully complete. The bonus exceeded his expectations, a flat plus 100 to every attribute. From level 1 to 9, Jiang Sun had only earned 72 total attribute points. This single reward granted 400 points total. The gap was enormous. SSS rank classes truly lived up to their reputation. And an extended lifespan? No one had ever told him that before. Could this bonus be exclusive to his SSS rank hidden class? That seemed unlikely. Many 7th and 8th rank powerhouses had survived from the game's arrival to the present day. Longevity must hold secrets Jiang Sun had yet to uncover. Inside the secret realm, once the system notifications finished, a massive surge of energy flooded Jiang Sun's body, comprehensively enhancing every stat. The power rush subsided after some time. The plus 100 attribute boost was tangible. A pleasant tingling spread across his whole body. He felt confident he could punch an elephant to death. He could run at astonishing speeds, nearly matching an iron ball's velocity. Though he could not fly, his ground speed improvement was immense. Back in the promotion hall, behind the summoner class viewing window, Uncle Zhong Deng slouched over the counter, chin resting on his arms, half-lidded eyes watching the status display. He looked ready to doze off. Had Uncle Zhong Deng awakened a god-tier talent for sleep? Trial participant, Jiang Sun, in trial. He yawned. This kid sure is persistent. He has lasted this long without getting killed. Though he spoke casually, inwardly he rooted for Jiang Sun. Summoners were a dwindling class. If this promising newcomer turned out to be a genius, he could restore respect for summoners, and that would reflect well on Uncle Zhong Deng too. Yet he harbored worries. Inside the trial, either the youth was trading heavy blows with the boss, or he had already been overwhelmed. Poor thing. The elder man was lost in his thoughts when the status notification on the light screen suddenly changed. Trial participant Jiang Sun, stage 3 cleared. Rating calculating. The elder man perked up, sat straight, tapped twice on the light screen, and pulled up the detailed evaluation records. The next second, he froze as if trapped by a binding spell. 3 lines of text stood clear on the light screen. Stage 1. SSS Stage 2. SSS Stage 3. SSS. The elder man's eyes widened little by little, and his mouth slowly fell open. He stood rigid like a statue trapped by an acupoint strike, staring blankly at the words on the light screen for a full 7 or 8 seconds. Then he sharply drew in a breath of air, inhaling so abruptly and forcefully that he nearly choked himself. Hiss! He quickly covered his mouth and glanced around. People came and went in the promotion hall. A guide by the warrior counter was explaining skill combinations to a burly man, and a long queue stretched before the mage counter. No one noticed his strange reaction. The elder man took 3 deep breaths, stared at the 3 SSS ratings twice more to confirm he had not misread due to poor eyesight, and restlessness instantly overtook him. His hands wandered across the table. He picked up his teacup, took a sip, set it down, then picked it up again, muttering to himself. 3 stages, all SSS. For 300 years, no summoner has ever gotten such an outrageous score. This kid. He shot to his feet, only to sit back down abruptly. He had stood up intending to send word to someone, yet sank back into the chair, realizing he had no idea whom to contact. The Lord of Greenwood City? Probably not. The Rock Legion would not suffice either. Only the Council in Divine City could handle this matter. Yet he possessed no way to reach them. No. I need to calm down. I have to figure out how to break this news. Wait, should I even say anything? The person in the world announcement has to be him, right? If word gets out, he'll definitely become a target. But keeping this bottled up is driving me crazy. 3 stages of SSS ratings, heavens above. The elder man twisted restlessly in his chair, as if a bed of cacti sat beneath him. His expression flickered between wild excitement and anxious dread, swinging between extreme exhilaration and panic. If passers-by caught sight of him, they would surely think he was tangled in some unbearable dilemma. He was debating whether to add another handful of wolfberries to his teacup to steady his nerves, when a cold sensation swept across the back of his neck. It felt as if someone stood directly behind him. The elder man tried to turn his head, only to discover his entire body locked immobile. Time itself seemed to hit pause for him, his train of thought grinding to a halt. An extremely faint silver thread slowly drew out from his temple. Finer than a spider's silk, it glinted faintly in the air before vanishing without a trace. The elder man's body swayed slightly, and mobility returned to him. He blinked and glanced down at the light screen. Jiang Sun's clearance record was still displayed, yet the rating section had altered completely. The 3 SSS results had been replaced by plain, unremarkable text. B. The elder man scratched his head. He could shake off a vague sense that something was wrong, yet could not pinpoint the cause. After racking his brain to no avail, he let the thought drop. Must be old age fogging my memory. Unexpected that this lad cleared the first order trial only 10 days after awakening. Truly, the younger generation impresses. He had no clue that every memory of witnessing the 3 SSS ratings had been wiped clean from his mind. At that very moment, a figure materialized out of thin air. Jiang Sun emerged. The instant he stepped out of the transmission light gate, he witnessed a scene he would never forget for the rest of his life. A woman wearing gray-black casual robes stood beside the registration elder. A wisp of silver light lingered at her fingertips, not yet fully dissipated. The elder himself busily tapped the light screen, oblivious to the person standing right behind him. Jiang Sun's pupils shrank. The woman looked petite, barely 1.34 meters tall, appearing no different from a human child. She had a round, childish face, and her stern expression contrasted sharply with her youthful features, making her look remarkably endearing. Jiang Sun almost found the urge to pinch her soft cheeks. Time within this stretch of space appeared frozen. The registration elder remained motionless, leaving only Jiang Sun and the young woman free to move. Strangely enough, none of the crowds moving through the promotion hall detected anything amiss. Sensing Jiang Sun's gaze, the woman turned to look at him. She lowered her hand and stepped out from behind the elder, speaking in a calm tone. "You're out?" Jiang Sun had already prepared to summon the iron orb and salted fish. "Hey, who are you? What did you do to him?" Hearing the casual nickname Jiang Sun tossed out, the young woman nearly lost her composure. Her face flickered between shades of pale and flushed before she replied. "Star Spire, Auxiliary 12. You may call me Star Yao. He is unharmed. I merely erased his memory of your trial evaluation." "What memory?" "The ratings you earned in the trial." He glanced at the still, frozen registration elder and roughly grasped her intention. She was shielding him, which meant she was most likely not an enemy. "He saw your results," Star Yao explained. 3 consecutive SSS ratings. He also recognized you as the record-breaking individual from the world announcement. If that memory remained in his mind, it would bring danger to both you and him. Can he ever recall it later? No. This form of memory extraction is irreversible. The only side effect is mild cognitive dullness. That will last a few days, though it will fade gradually over time. It seemed the elder would be a little slow-witted for the next few days. Star Yao walked to the counter and tapped the light screen several more times. "I have concealed your trial results through special means, altering them to B. I've also modified and obscured data such as your clearance duration," she said as she worked. Her tone carried gravity, yet paired with her youthful voice, the contrast felt oddly playful. Jiang Sun fought the sudden impulse to flick her forehead. He quickly reined in the thought. She could freeze an entire area of space and extract memories with a single gesture. A powerful existence he could not afford to provoke. If he acted recklessly, he would likely be sent flying into a wall before he could follow through. I've also revised your registered occupation from Seal Summoner to Spirit Summoner, with an occupational rating of Grade B. Bear in mind, I can only hide information stored within the trial system. Your personal status panel cannot be altered or concealed. Avoid displaying your panel in front of others. Learning a skill to block detection later would be the safest choice. She closed the light screen and turned toward Jiang Sun. Star Yao. Why are you helping me? It falls within my duties. Have you heard of the Star Spire? Jiang Sun stared blankly, completely unfamiliar with the name. Never. What is that? Star Yao said, a secret organization under Great Xia tasked with protecting extraordinary talents. Regardless of your occupation or innate talent rank, breaking the record for the first order trial alone qualifies you for protection. All the more so with your 3 SSS clearances. Those under protection are named Principal Stars, and I am your auxiliary star. My responsibility is only to prevent assassination attempts from other organizations. I will not intervene if you are injured or killed by monsters. That is all I am permitted to tell you. Continuing this conversation violates protocol. Our rule is minimal contact. Farewell. One more thing. Zhao Taizhan from the Summoners Union is one of us. You can trust him. As soon as her words ended, Star Yao's figure vanished on the spot. Jiang Sun turned his head, searching every direction, yet finding no trace of where she had gone. The time restriction binding the registration elder lifted, and he slowly twisted around. Whoa, lad, you're out. Nice work clearing the first order trial on your first attempt. Your scores aren't outstanding, but it's still a solid achievement. Keep going. The summoner path relies on young folks like you. It was clear he retained no recollection of everything that had just transpired. Jiang Sun thought to himself, if he knew I had achieved SSS ratings and obtained an SSS hidden occupation, he would be utterly stunned. He decided not to tease the temporarily muddled registration elder. It felt unfair, as the elder's temporary fogginess stemmed entirely from him. After bidding the elder farewell, he stepped out of the promotion hall. Dawn had fully broken outside. Sunlight spilled over the gray, white buildings of Greenwood City, wrapping the entire city in warm, golden radiance. Even dust drifting through the air appeared gilded. Jiang Sun took a deep breath and soon spotted a familiar figure. Well now, wasn't this the person he had collided with on the day of the attack in West District? Without hesitation, Jiang Sun cast a life seal toward the figure. The mark drifted silently into the person's body, unnoticed entirely. Truly, the life seal ability was extraordinary. Jiang Sun walked a short distance from the promotion hall, found a quiet alley, and shifted his form, transporting himself to the 5th layer of the Sprout Root secret realm. Inside the trial realm, he had been caught up in the battle excitement. Breaking through to first order brought a flurry of notifications, the new king title, the unprecedented trial record, and system-wide announcements. He had never gotten the chance to carefully examine his updated status panel. Truth be told, Jiang Sun was eager to see all his new stats. He sat cross-legged. Now was the perfect time to sort everything out. Name, Jiang Sun. Occupation, Seal Summoner SSS Grade Level, LV.10 First, Order Innate Talent. Universal Experience Grade B Titles. New King can be hidden. HP, 12050 Mana, 960 Constitution, 119 Strength, 101 Agility, 110 Intelligence, 110 Unassigned Attribute Points, 45 Current Summon Limit. 2/3. He scrolled further down, and all his skills were clearly listed. Summon Enhancement Passive, Black Iron LV.6. All attributes of summons increased by 100%. Summoning Art, Black Iron LV.1. Cast time 1.2s. Consumes 50 mana. Channel power from an unknown realm to randomly summon a sentient being as a summon. A permanent bond forms after the first summoning. Mana Bolt, Plain LV.1. Deals intelligence times 0.5 damage, 3-second cooldown. Life Source Passive, Black Iron LV.9. Permanent HP cap increase of 2,610, restores 28 HP per second. Every time he read the description for Summoning Art, Jiang Sun gritted his teeth in frustration. This skill was the root cause of the summoner class's awkward reputation. Random summons were already risky enough, and the skill could pull forth any sentient entity. In his case, it had gifted him 2 bizarre companions, a sentient iron orb and a sentient salted fish. What was more, the world of Guanlan offered no method to form contracts with wild creatures. Or perhaps such mechanics were locked until higher levels. At the very least, he had never heard of any summoner able to recruit wild monsters as summons. It was truly a raw deal. Further down lay the 4 unique traits of the SSS, Grade Seal Summoner. Life Seal Imprint. Apply an undispellable seal mark to valid targets. No upper limit to the number of marks. Life Seal Tracking. Detect the general direction of marked targets outside sensory range. Pinpoint exact positions within sensory range. Plunder. When a marked target perishes, there is a chance to steal attribute points. Life Seal Conversion. Gain Life Seal points upon slaying marked targets. Reach 10,000 points to unlock an additional summon slot. Current progress, 0/10,000, and SSS Occupation truly lived up to its reputation. Jiang Sun could already picture future hunting trips. He would seek out crowded monster zones, as his life seals could be cast silently without detection. He could mark every monster within sight. All other cultivators would essentially be farming experience for him. Only someone with Jiang Sun's cunning mind could come up with such a scheme. The equipment section at the bottom looked depressingly bare. Apprentice Short Staff Plane. Spell Attack, +10 Novice Robes Plane. Physical Defense +5. Magic Defense +5 Tough Belt Black Iron. HP +50. Jiang Sun stared at the equipment list. His loadout was severely unbalanced. Equipment was notoriously hard to come by in the world of Guanlan. Despite fighting countless elites and bosses over these days, he had only obtained one piece of gear. Not a single equipment blueprint had dropped alongside it. Was he cursed with terrible loot luck? Had the goddess of fortune sealed his drop rate? He pushed the thought aside. Worrying solved nothing. He could simply purchase gear once he earned enough money. He recalled his constitution had only been 17 points before breaking through. Now it stood at 119. Leveling from 1 to 9 had granted a total of 72 attribute points. Breaking through to first order alone gave over 400 points. The sheer absurdity of it knew no bounds. He continued scrolling and opened the detailed explanation for the New King title. New King Achievement Title, permanently bound all attributes +20 experience gained +30% King's Aura. Instill pressure on monsters of first order and below, reducing all their attributes by 10%. New King's Protection. When struck by lethal damage, retain 1 HP and activate a golden shield granting invincibility for 2 seconds. Once the shield fades, recover 50% maximum HP, 24-hour cooldown. Appearance. Floating golden halo above head. The text, New King, hovers overhead can be hidden. A broad grin spread slowly across Jiang Sun's face as he finished reading. All attributes +20 amounted to an extra 80 free attribute points. The 30% experience boost meant his universal experience gain efficiency rose by nearly 1/3. The New King's Protection was the most astonishing ability of all. Locked HP, temporary invincibility, and healing, limited to a 24-hour cooldown. It effectively granted him an extra life every single day. It was an incredible reward, without a doubt. He focused his mind to activate the title effects and hid the floating overhead visuals. No way would he walk around with a glowing halo above his head. Someday he aimed to become the strongest summoner. He refused to look ridiculous in such a fashion. Numbers on his status panel shifted once more. HP, 14050 mana, 1120 Constitution, 139 +20 Strength, 121 +20 Agility, 130 +20 Intelligence, 130 +20. A warm surge of power coursed through his body, and Jiang Sun nodded in satisfaction. These outstanding stats far outmatched ordinary low-grade occupations. The title bonus alone exceeded the total attribute points ordinary cultivators gained from levels 1 through 9. Coupled with the attribute rewards from his SSS first advancement, numerically speaking, Jiang Sun's power was roughly equivalent to 6 regular cultivators combined. He never imagined he would one day become a measuring stick for strength himself. He closed his status panel and pondered his next plan to farm universal experience. It would be ideal to locate another zone similar to the Sproutroot Secret Realm. Then a thought suddenly crossed his mind. Breaking through to first order had unlocked an additional summon slot. His summon capacity had expanded from 2 to 3. There was no time to waste. Jiang Sun felt a mix of anticipation and dread. He looked forward to gaining another summon to work for him, allowing him to continue his habit of putting his summons to work. Yet he resented the uncontrollable randomness of summoning art. Even as an SSS hidden occupation holder, he could not influence the summoning outcome. What choice did he have? Should he take a moment to purify himself before summoning? He knew of no skills that raised luck. If such an ability existed, Jiang Sun would pour universal experience into leveling it instantly. Imagine summoning a supreme beast with one cast. He rubbed his hands together and activated summoning art. Summoning power began to circulate. Light flashed forth. A figure materialized before him, humanoid in shape. Some instinct told him this summoning might be extraordinary. The summoning radiance lingered without fading, outlining a human-shaped silhouette. Within the world of Guanlan, all summoners knew humanoid summons were almost universally powerful. As he stared, Jiang Sun's eyes widened. Everyone spoke of standing within the light, yet no one said you had to stand exposed with no clothing at all. Thankfully, swirling light obscured fine details. Jiang Sun glanced nervously around, relieved to confirm he was alone on this layer. If Uncle Sheng witnessed this and chatted with his mother afterward, he would never live it down. The radiance gradually faded, revealing the figure clearly. Fortunately, she wore garments, though rather light ones. She appeared to be in her early 20s, tall and graceful, clad in a long dress woven from silvery, white feathers. The fabric looked semi-transparent beneath the light, creating a dreamlike, beautiful sight. Long hair spilled over her shoulders, faint feather patterns woven into the tips. Her features were exquisite and cold, bearing the air of an ethereal immortal. Her narrow eyes slanted upward, irises glowing translucent amber, gold. Strangest of all, fine matte pale cyan feathers grew across her shoulders and forearms, clinging closely to her skin and rippling subtly with every small movement. Several long, magnificent tail feathers hung beside her neck, tangled within her hair. Just what had he summoned this time? The cold, elegant woman fixed her gaze on Jiang Sun, and her eyes carried an unmistakable emotion, as if she had finally found the person she sought. A cool, mature female voice echoed out. "Do you remember the fox you fed once?" The tone was clear and crisp, pleasant to listen to. Jiang Sun froze, sorting through his memories quickly. Then comprehension dawned on his face. "I remember. That injured fox. I gave it my preserved duck dish. So you are that fox? Have you come to repay the kindness? Sure enough, do good deeds and do not dwell on what lies ahead. And here comes the one who refuses to show gratitude." The woman's expression froze for a split second. She then took a deep breath, as if restraining surging emotions, and spoke word by word. "You're the duck. Your whole family are ducks. That was a spiced braised chicken. And I am that chicken you fed to that damned fox." Jiang Sun's expression froze. "Is this real? How is this possible? Guanlan, answer me. Look me in the eye. We've practically crossed time and space here." Silence hung in the air. The two stared at each other for roughly 3 seconds. What? It was supposed to be spiced braised duck. And scrupulous merchants, passing chicken off as duck. Jiang Sun nearly lost his balance. "You mean you were that supposed spiced braised duck? No, spiced braised chicken back then? Then how did you get such a stunning mature woman's appearance now? Why, you're serious? So have you come to repay my kindness? Are you thankful I freed your physical form?" Jiang Sun tried to salvage the situation. The woman stared at him blankly. Repay kindness? I'm here to get revenge. Thank you for freeing my body. I thank your ancestors 8 generations over." As she spoke, she lifted one hand. A feather materialized and shot straight toward Jiang Sun with a whoosh. Strangely, the feather dissipated automatically shortly before reaching him. Guanlan's rules must have kicked in. How could a summoned creature attack its master? That was impossible. Seeing this, Jiang Sun couldn't help laughing loudly. "Little spiced braised chicken, do you really think you can get away from your master?" The figure showed no anger when her attack failed. She had likely anticipated this outcome. She tilted her head and looked at Jiang Sun with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Next, she spread a pair of dreamlike wings and flew toward him. She first grabbed his shoulders and lifted him off the ground. Then she tugged hard, flipping Jiang Sun upside down, seizing him by the ankles. A shrill scream escaped Jiang Sun immediately. Who could endure being suspended upside down while experiencing gravitational forces far stronger than a rocket launch? They rocketed upward at extreme speed. Right before releasing him, the woman kicked him with her feet, sending him plummeting even faster. Just before he crashed into the ground, she caught him by the ankles once more. This repeated over and over. Iron Ball and Salted Fish watched the scene dumbfounded. From high up in the sky came the master's continuous, agonized cries. "You think you're so virtuous, don't you? You think you love doing good deeds, huh? You dared to call me spiced braised duck? You fed me to a fox? Why are you such a handful? Speak up." Intertwined with the shouts was the mature woman's voice, laced with anger and the satisfaction of revenge. Half an hour later, Jiang Sun's throat went hoarse. He lay limp and exhausted when the woman set him down on the ground. The moment his feet touched the ground, he doubled over and retched violently, though his stomach was empty, leaving him only dry, heaving. The woman watched him, satisfaction glinting in her eyes. It was clear what she was thinking. You've finally gotten what you deserve. I've settled 1/10 of my score with you. We'll sort out the rest slowly. Jiang Sun was on the verge of tears. Is this really my summoned beast? She was undeniably powerful, but the problem was she was here to settle scores with him. What on earth should he do? He needed help urgently. Jiang Sun lay on the ground, his mind racing frantically for a solution. Could he sever the summoning bond? There was no reverse way to undo it. Once summoned, the bond was permanent. Should he kowtow to her? Humph. I am destined to become the greatest summoner. I cannot lose my dignity like that. Guanlan, can't you strengthen your restrictions? Couldn't you grant me mandatory command authority? For now, the only core rule was that summoned creatures could not deal fatal harm to their master. Did swinging him through the sky count as harm? Apparently not. It was deemed a unique way for summoned creatures to bond with their masters. While they were high above the ground earlier, Jiang Sun had considered sending the woman back to the summoning dimension. But if he teleported her away mid-air, he would plummet and smash to pieces. Good grief. I summoned a sworn enemy. Troubles await me from now on. Jiang Sun pretended to recover and slowly lifted his head. Look, I never knew you possessed consciousness. No ordinary person would imagine a spiced braised chicken could have a mind of its own, right? Besides, this turned out to be a blessing in disguise for you. You've cultivated and reached such a powerful realm. Admitting fault was no shame, especially when facing such a strong, elegant, mature summoned beast. He never wanted to experience that high-speed aerial tossing again. The mature woman shot him a cold glance and said nothing. Her gaze spoke volumes. Keep talking. The nicer your words, the less hardship awaits you later. Jiang Sun cleared his throat. Seeing she still refused to reply, he opened his system panel to check her information. Plumage, Gold Rank 0 Tier LV. 1, HP, 2600, Attack, 600, Defense, 350 Basic Attack, Featherblade. Condense feather blades to strike targets, dealing damage equal to 3.5 times attack power. Attack frequency, 1 strike per second. Skill, Feather Barrage. Summon countless feathers to bombard an area. Each feather deals damage equal to 0.8 times attack power. Cooldown, 3 seconds. Passive, Feather Lightness. Movement speed plus 25%, flight speed plus 100%. Reading the stats, Jiang Sun understood. No wonder she flew so swiftly. The passive ability boosted her speed. At last, he had a summoning ally with area of effect attacks, though whether she would obey his orders remained uncertain. So your name is Plumage. A fitting name, inevitably linked to chickens. What's more, she started off at gold rank straight away. That saved Jiang Sun a great deal of trouble. Her stats were truly impressive. With 600 attack at level 1 alone, she was clearly a long-range marksman type summoned beast. Coupled with an area attack skill, she was far stronger than Salted Fish had been when first summoned. The tricky part was figuring out how to build a good relationship with her. Jiang Sun rested on the ground for a long while before pushing himself up into a sitting position. Plumage stood 3 steps away, arms folded, looking down at him. Her gaze was like watching a bedraggled stray dog. Come to think of it, she herself was the chicken. Calling Jiang Sun a bedraggled chicken would be an insult to chickens. A stray dog suited him better. Ideas churned rapidly in Jiang Sun's mind. Very well. The mature lady taming plan officially commences. Force would not work. This lady flew fast and knew all kinds of vexing tricks. While the rules prevented her from inflicting fatal injuries on her master, there was one major catch. That aerial tossing torment hurt far more than any fist fight. Ugh. They called this a unique way for summoned creatures to bond with their masters. It was nothing but plain torment. Guanlan, I wish to file a complaint. A summoned creature is mistreating its master. Guanlan would not respond to him. Speaking of which, Guanlan's summoning ability was incredible. It connected to a genuine, unknown dimension, capable of pulling creatures from the world before he transmigrated. Jiang Sun recalled the memory. He was 6 or 7 years old, hiking in a national forest with his parents. They brought plenty of food, including what was sold as spiced braised duck. In a mountain hollow, they spotted a fox with a broken leg, emaciated in skin and bones. Jiang Sun begged his mother to feed the braised meat to the fox. More than a year afterward, Jiang Sun transmigrated to this world. He never imagined Guanlan would let him summon that piece of meat he fed to the fox. What was even more unbelievable was that the merchant had cheated everyone. It was chicken, not duck. Plain spiced braised chicken. How did a spiced braised chicken cultivate consciousness and become a spirit? Answer me. Thinking about salted fish calmed him down. If a salted fish preserved for hundreds of years could retain its consciousness, it was hardly strange for a spiced braised chicken to do the same. Was it resentment from being fed to a fox? But you were meant to be food to begin with. Now he needed to figure out how to resolve this mess. Jiang Sun's eyes swiveled as he pondered a new approach. His two other companions stood idly by. They had not intervened at all while Plumage tormented him. TCH, ungrateful pair. I wasted so much universal experience leveling you two up. All three were gold-rank summoned beasts. Look at Plumage. Her intelligence seemed to surpass even Jiang Sun's. And you two? Even after reaching gold rank, you only occasionally send faint thoughts. Can't you speak out loud? Iron Ball felt wronged. I want to talk, but do I even have a mouth? Should I speak with my rear end? He brushed dust off his clothes and stood. There was no dust on the fifth platform, but he could not stay seated on the ground forever. If no steps were offered, he had to find his own way up. He forced a warm smile onto his face. Plumage, from now on we're comrades. I was in the wrong about what happened before, and I admit it. How about we get along harmoniously and march toward the peak of this world together? One day I'll punch the sun, and you'll subdue gods. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Jiang Sun began painting a bright future. Plumage stared blankly at him, then turned away, refusing to acknowledge him. She would not fall for empty promises. Time to try material incentives. Jiang Sun said, you might not know this, but my talent allows me to help you evolve. Would you like to advance to platinum rank? To epic quality? Perhaps even mythic rank one day? Plumage still ignored him, but tilted her head slightly. Evolution clearly tempted her. Jiang Sun took a deep breath and told himself to stay patient. Elegant women were naturally aloof. This was normal. He continued chattering beside her. Are you hungry? How about I cook you something delicious? Jiang Sun did have a slight knack for cooking. He pulled out barbecue utensils, fashioned a wok from crabshell fragments, and took out grass seeds dropped by grass cluster monsters on the first floor of the First Sprout secret realm. He lit a fire underneath and started frying the grass seeds on the fifth platform. Each grass seed was the size of a fingertip, plump and round. Dropped by monsters, the seeds brimmed with vital energy. Fried by Jiang Sun and seasoned with barbecue spices, a rich fragrance spread instantly. Jiang Sun popped one into his mouth and chewed. Wow, delicious. These were far better than roasted melon seeds. No peeling required. The thin outer shell did not affect the taste at all. You're a chicken spirit after all. Let's see if you can resist this temptation. As he stirred, he continuously tossed seeds into his mouth, chewing with obvious enjoyment. He stole glances at Plumage while cooking. Truly an elegant lady, unshaken on the surface, seemingly unaffected by the scent. Once the seeds were fully cooked, Jiang Sun ignored the heat and cupped a handful, walking over to Plumage like offering a treasure. Try these. Stir-fried grass seeds, a kind treat. Plumage remained unmoving, yet her twitching nose betrayed her inner unrest. Please have some. I'll listen to you from now on, I swear. Neither of us can break Guanlan's rules. We're both trapped. Why make things hard for each other? Plumage finally relented. There was no point suffering needlessly. Even so, the sight of this summoner still irritated her. At worst, she could drag him for that aerial tossing session every single day. I'll give you face and try some. She reached out and took the seeds from Jiang Sun's palms. She sat down and tasted them slowly. To be fair, Jiang Sun's cooking skills were outstanding. The stir-fried seeds tasted incredible. Seeing this, Jiang Sun packed all the remaining seeds into a pouch and set it before her. Keep these as snacks. I'll always take good care of my summoned companions. At those words, Plumage rolled her eyes at him. Jiang Sun rejoiced inwardly. Great. Phase 1 of the mature lady taming plan was a success. While Jiang Sun pondered how to win over Plumage inside the secret realm, meanwhile, on the rooftop of a 3-story building in the western district of Qingmu City, a petite figure sat cross-legged, gazing toward an alley. Xing Yao stared toward the spot where Jiang Sun had entered the secret realm. This Star Lord was truly hard to keep track of. He vanished right after leaving the promotion hall. He disappeared from sight in an instant. She tried every ability she possessed, yet only detected faint spatial fluctuations, nothing more. This was a disaster. As an auxiliary star, her duty was to protect the primary star, and she lost him the moment they met. She could already picture Auxiliary 1's furious scolding. Thinking about it, her baby, fat cheeks scrunched up, and she looked ready to cry. Still, she had to send the report. Opening her communication panel, she tapped Auxiliary 1's avatar with trembling fingers. Auxiliary 12 reporting. The primary star has gone missing. Shortly after Xing Yao sent the message, a reply arrived almost instantly. Provide all details. Qingmu City, West Ping'an Alley. The primary star entered the alley 3 minutes ago and vanished afterward. Spatial fluctuations detected, no signs of combat. Did you sense any other presences? None. No traces of cultists or foreign races. 3 seconds of silence followed. Remain on site. I will dispatch a team to investigate. Receive. Xing Yao closed her panel and kept watching the alley. Far away, within the Supreme God City, the Starspire headquarters. Inside a vast hall sat an elderly man wearing a star-patterned mask. This was Auxiliary 1, founder of Starspire, and the auxiliary star who had served the strongest being in history. Starspire had not existed back then. He had been dispatched by the Council to secretly guard a talented seed. Once the powerhouse grew strong enough, protection became unnecessary. He returned to the God City and founded Starspire with Council support. The organization's core mission was safeguarding geniuses who might one day become supreme powerhouses. Upon receiving Xing Yao's report, he immediately deployed an emergency investigation team and relayed the information to Starspire Command Center. Auxiliary 4 was on duty at the command center that day. Glancing at the message, his pupils shrank. Few knew Auxiliary 4's full name. Everyone within Starspire referred to him by his code. He was the duty commander that day. He tapped the light screen and pulled up Jiang Sun's encrypted file, accessible with his authority. Name, Jiang Sun. Age, 18. Class, Seal Summoner SSS rank. Talent, unknown. First Transcendence Trial Rating, SSS. Broke all historical records for Tier 1 trials. Protection priority, highest third on the primary star roster. Auxiliary 4 hovered his finger above the light screen, frozen for a long moment. From Xing Yao's report, he had guessed the primary star was extraordinary. Anyone assigned Auxiliary 12 as a guard was at minimum an SS-rank genius. He never expected an SSS-rank talent, the anonymous record breaker. SSS Trial Clearance, Rookie Champion, Seal Summoner. Combined, these titles meant only one thing: a genius unseen in Great Xia for decades. Regardless of his undisclosed talent rank, he deserved top-tier protection. Auxiliary 4 took a deep breath and picked up a communication stone linked directly to the Grand Speaker's office. Speaker, Auxiliary 4 of Starspire reporting. There is an incident you should know. There was 2 seconds of quiet before a low, steady voice responded. Speak. Auxiliary 12 reports that Jiang Sun, 3rd, rank primary star, has disappeared in Qingmu City. Initial assessment shows no signs of cult or foreign race activity. An investigation team is en route. Jiang Sun, the voice fell into thought. The one who broke the trial record? Yes. Seal Summoner. SSS Tier 1 Trial Clear, record holder. The speaker did not reply immediately. After several breaths, the low voice spoke again, carrying a complicated tone. It has been decades. Great Xia finally nurtures a once-in-a-century talent. And then he vanished? Cold sweat trickled down Auxiliary 4's back. The investigation team will arrive within 20 minutes. According to Auxiliary 12's description, no foreign race or cult traces were found, only faint spatial energy ripples. If that is the case, 2 possibilities explain such a clean disappearance: either his own ability or an item in his possession. The speaker cut him off. Carry out the investigation. Our genius cannot vanish without a trace. Also look into everyone he has interacted with, including the Occupational Guild. Check whether he owns any spatial items or artifacts. Yes. Auxiliary 4 replied concisely. Soon, they learned from Elder Zhao at the Occupational Guild that Jiang Sun possessed a bonded secret realm, the First Sprout Root. Speaker, he holds the First Sprout Secret Realm. The First Sprout Secret Realm? So he was the trigger for the hidden regional event announced in Qingmu City. A hearty laugh echoed from the speaker's side of the line. This boy. Await the investigation results. Once his safety is confirmed, instruct Auxiliary 12 to continue surveillance. The communication stone dimmed. Fu Si set down the stone and stared at Jiang Sun's file displayed on the light screen, shaking his head. He picked up the communication stone, used to contact Fu 12 once more. The investigation team has set out. Stay where you are and do not move. After sending the message, he leaned back against his chair, his gaze fixed on the line that read Seal Summoner SSS, rank on the light screen. He muttered to himself, a Seal Summoner, I've never even heard of it. Just how powerful can an SSS, rank hidden class be? Meanwhile, on the rooftop west of Qingmu City, Xing Yao received Fu Si's message. She sat down on the eaves and pulled a candy from her pocket, unwrapping the wrapper and popping it into her mouth. Though she looked like a child, she truly shared a childlike fondness for sweets. It was Fu Twelve's hobby, especially when her mind felt unsettled. Despite her youthful appearance, Fu 12 was already over 100 years old. She had acted as an attendant for multiple star champions in the past. Once a star champion reached the 6th tier and no longer required protection, she would return to the Star Pivot headquarters to await the next talented candidate. As Fu 12 crunched on her candy, a group of people flew toward her direction from the teleportation formation. At the head of the group was a man in his early 30s with an ordinary-looking face. The moment he landed, Xing Yao sensed the air around her growing noticeably hotter. At minimum, a 6th-tier expert. Fu 12, the man asked. That's me. Tell me what happened. Xing Yao recounted everything she had witnessed. The man listened without speaking, then raised a hand. Two people behind him immediately split up. One squatted at the alley entrance and closed his eyes, seemingly sensing the surroundings. The other pulled a palm-sized ancient bronze mirror from his pocket and held it toward the ground. The mirror reflected nothing but clean, empty ground. No residual formation energy, no spatial rifts, no energy markings whatsoever. Staring at what the mirror revealed, the man fell silent for several seconds before speaking. Word came through on the way here. He possesses a bonded secret realm. Could he have gone inside? Xing Yao froze. I don't know. I only arrived at the promotion hall today to confirm the record breaker and ran into him. I haven't gathered any other information yet, she answered honestly. The man set down his communication stone and nodded. That makes sense. Bonded secret realms leave only faint spatial fluctuations upon entry and exit, undetectable from the outside. It is an inherent trait of those bound to a secret realm. If he is inside, he is safe. We simply wait for him to come out. He put the mirror away and gestured to the two behind him. The three arrived quickly and departed just as fast, vanishing into the alleys within a few breaths. Before leaving, the man tossed out a warning. Gather all facts before reporting next time. Star Pivot manpower is not to be wasted on wild goose chases. Xing Yao bit her lip, her chubby cheeks scrunching up even tighter. Damn it. If you're heading into your own secret realm, you could at least send a message. Now we've ended up with this huge misunderstanding. Still, knowing her star champion was safe lifted the weight off her heart. She settled back down on the rooftop, took another candy from her pocket, unwrapped it, and ate it. Fine, I'll just wait. But later, I need to get him to add me as a friend or grant me access to that secret realm of his. I can't keep running around blind like this. Over 100 years, Xing Yao had served 7 or 8 star champions. None had ever caused her such an embarrassing mishap right after the attendant contract was established, not like Jiang Sun. She could already picture the people in the Star Pivot command hall mocking her. Come on, did anyone take that kid seriously? She was probably just crying wolf. Kids will be kids, haha. Crunch. Just thinking about it made her squeeze the candy in her hand until it shattered. Tears welled in her eyes, making her look exactly like a little girl on the verge of crying. Inside the first Sprout secret realm at this moment, Jiang Sun squatted atop a boulder, viewing his system panel in his mind. Iron Sphere and Salted Fish rolled around fighting on the grass, just like two young kittens practicing hunting. Ling Yu sat alone in the distance, eyes closed to rest, putting on an air of wanting nothing to do with the others. Even so, she munched happily on grass seeds one after another. A smile tugged at Jiang Sun's lips. Who cares about the cool, composed aura? This refined bird spirit still can't shake her habit of eating seeds. Jiang Sun was turning a plan over in his head. How could he farm experience quickly? He had now reached the first tier. Universal experience costs 70% less to consume within the secret realm. He absolutely needed to make good use of this, returning here every time he sought to level up. He also needed to rapidly accumulate seal points. Once he reached 10,000 points, he could unlock another summoning slot. With a single flicker, he brought his 3 summoned beasts to the first layer of the first Sprout Root secret realm. As soon as they appeared, Iron Sphere and Salted Fish rolled onto the grass to play. Salted Fish loosed a water arrow to the left. Iron Sphere dodged right. Another water arrow flew right, and Iron Sphere dodged left. The pair looked utterly ridiculous. His inner taskmaster awoke. Jiang Sun could not stand seeing them lazing about. Off you go. Clear out monsters spawning from void rifts starting from the first layer and moving upward. Start with the first layer. If any monster hurts my sister or Uncle Shang, I'll stew you too. He then glanced toward Ling Yu. Ling Yu rolled her eyes at him. You want me to work? Nice try. Seeing her reaction, Jiang Sun knew convincing Ling Yu to fight would be impossible, so he said nothing more. Very well. I'll let her relax for now. The two small creatures soon disappeared from sight. Ling Yu slowly wandered about, observing the landscape of the first layer. Jiang Sun walked toward Uncle Shang's wooden cabin. The The cabin had expanded greatly, spacious inside. Before he even reached the door, a fragrant scent drifted over, reminiscent of the meals his mother cooked. His stomach rumbled on cue. It suddenly dawned on him that he had not eaten all day. He stepped inside. Su Xiaolan sat in a wheelchair beside the stove, nimbly stirring food in the wok. Several dishes were already laid out on the wooden table in the center of the room. Her trouser legs were tied up, empty below the knees, yet her face wore a bright smile. Su Xiaoxiao squatted in front of the stove, feeding firewood into the hearth one stick at a time. A smudge of black soot marked her cheek. She jumped up the second she spotted Jiang Sun entering. "Brother, you're back." Mom made loads of delicious food. Uncle Sheng stood off to one side, chopping firewood. Each swing of his axe was precise and sharp, a satisfying sight to behold. His body felt far more solid than when he had first formed the contract. His axe strikes were steadier. It seemed Uncle Sheng's physical refinement was progressing well. Once fully refined, would Uncle Sheng be able to advance to a higher tier? Jiang Sun glanced over the food on the table. A basin of braised pork, a plate of stir-fried greens, a bowl of egg drop soup, and a small dish of pickled radish. There were not many dishes, yet they looked incredibly appetizing. His mother was a genuine first-tier chef, and her cooking skills spoke for themselves. "Mom, why did you and Xiao Xiao come into the secret realm today?" Su Xiaolan smiled. "Xiao Xiao begged to come find you. She wanted to play inside the secret realm. I thought we had nothing better to do, and Uncle Sheng must get lonely staying here alone, so I brought her along." "Mom, your legs make it hard to get around. You don't have to cook. We could just buy food instead." "Silly boy, do you think your mother is helpless? If I don't practice cooking regularly, how will I raise my skill proficiency? Besides, this wheelchair gear makes moving around easy enough." Jiang Sun sat at the table, picked up his chopsticks, and took a bite of braised pork. The meat was tender and well seasoned, rich with aroma, fatty without feeling greasy. This was exactly the taste he loved. Jiang Sun called Su Xiaoxiao over, wearing a mysterious grin. "Xiao Xiao, your brother got a new summoned beast. Want to see?" Su Xiaoxiao eyed him warily at first, but curiosity got the better of her. She stepped forward excitedly. "Really? Don't tell me it's another weird creature. Go outside. There's a lady standing there. Invite her in for dinner. She's my third summoned beast." "For real? If you lie to me, you're a puppy." Disbelief covered Su Xiaoxiao's face. "Oh, she doubts me." Jiang Sun flicked her forehead. The satisfying sensation made him chuckle. Holding her head, Su Xiaoxiao ran outside, spitting toward him. "Pa pa pa, I know you just wanted to flick me. I'm going to check. If there's no one out there, you're in big trouble." Stepping out of the cabin, Su Xiaoxiao immediately spotted the figure. The moment she laid eyes on Ling Yu, she was stunned by her imposing, elegant aura. She instantly switched to a well-behaved manner. "Big sister, please come inside for dinner. My mom finished cooking." Strangely enough, Ling Yu looked on Jiang Sun with constant disdain, yet she took an immediate liking to Su Xiaoxiao. She smiled and let Xiaoxiao lead her into the cabin. As Ling Yu walked inside, Su Xiaolan and Uncle Sheng both caught sight of her, equally amazed by her appearance. Jiang Sun seized the chance to speak. "Come take a seat. Try the food my mom made." Ling Yu rolled her eyes at Jiang Sun, but offered a gentle smile to his mother and Uncle Sheng. Everyone gathered around the wooden table. Jiang Sun waved his hand. "Let's eat." Su Xiaoxiao stared wide-eyed, studying Ling Yu from side to side, then leaned toward Jiang Sun and whispered, Brother, she's so beautiful." She tried to lower her voice, yet the cabin was small, and Ling Yu heard every word clearly. Ling Yu smiled gently at Xiaoxiao. She thought to herself, at least this young girl has good taste. "My name is Ling Yu," she said, her words brief yet powerful. "She's so cool," Su Xiaoxiao murmured. Jiang Sun nearly laughed out loud. "Wait until you see her dive from high altitude. That would be even cooler." The whole family enjoyed a joyful meal together. After eating, drowsiness washed over Jiang Sun. His naturally laid-back personality was probably tied to his constitution. Most people could fight off post-meal sleepiness with coffee or strong tea. Not Jiang Sun. When he grew tired, he slept. Before the others finished eating, he stretched out on Uncle Sheng's bed, and soon loud snores echoed through the room. His mother watched, equal parts exasperated and amused. Ling Yu massaged her temples. How would she manage such an easygoing summoner master? Su Xiaoxiao paid no mind to whether Jiang Sun slept or stepped out. She was full of questions and chattered nonstop. Ling Yu answered every one patiently, without a hint of irritation. After a satisfying post-meal nap, Jiang Sun opened his eyes to see Su Xiaoxiao holding Ling Yu's hand, firing off endless questions. Still half asleep, he decided to linger on the bed for a while. With nothing to do, he opened the Qingmu City Professional Forum and began searching for suitable monster farming locations. The forum feed scrolled constantly with messages. Elite Hyenas LV.12 east of Blackstone Town. Looking for teammates. Material Shop West Side buying carapaces at high prices. Rockfall Town Southern mine hunting rock rats. Need one spirit healer. As he scrolled, another thought occupied his mind. He needed 10,000 seal points to unlock the 4th summoning slot. Hunting monsters one by one himself was far too slow. But what if he changed his approach? If he marked a monster with a seal, he would still gain points when someone else killed it. He did not need to strike a blow himself. Other hunters could farm points for him. A spot like that required 2 things: plenty of players and plenty of monsters. Only popular farming grounds satisfied both conditions. He kept browsing and found a suitable post. Rockfall Town Black Marsh Wetland open farming spot for solo hunters. Green marsh frogs spawn rapidly in dense clusters. Levels range LV.12-15. Wide open terrain, ideal for groups and solo hunters alike. Countless players come here daily to farm experience. This looked promising. It perfectly matched his requirements. This would be the place. He closed his panel and lazily climbed out of bed, stretching widely. He used summoning magic to call Iron Sphere and Salted Fish to his side, then turned toward Lingyu. Let's head to a surface town to hunt monsters. Su Xiaoxiao perked up at once. Brother, take me along to see the world. I've never been to the surface. No way. The surface is dangerous. It's nothing like the floating city. Please take me. Su Xiaoxiao begged, tugging at his arm in a playful manner. Jiang Sun flicked her forehead again. Su Xiaoxiao quickly scrambled away. Forehead flicks really worked to calm the rambunctious child. Dozens of giant stone pillars stood silently within the teleportation square, each carved densely with runes glowing faint blue. Jiang Sun found the pillar marked for Rockfall Town and stepped into the runic circle. He paid the teleport fee. Light flashed. The gray buildings of the floating city vanished, replaced by yellowish, brown land and low stone houses. Rockfall Town's teleportation square was small, holding only 4 pillars ringed by a low stone wall. A notice board stood beside the square plastered with wanted posters. These criminals had broken the laws of Great Xia, along with members of heretical cults. The main street of the town bustled with people, mostly low-equipped first-tier professionals chatting in groups or squatting to sell materials. It was entirely unlike the floating city. This was a land where professionals fought, and the atmosphere felt rough and rugged. Jiang Sun did not linger in town. After asking for directions, he headed east out of town, traveling for roughly 40 minutes. He did not ignore any monsters along the path, slaying everyone he encountered. The terrain gradually sank lower. The ground turned soft, and a damp, fishy tang filled the air. Puddles and weeds spread across the landscape, dotted with scattered low shrubs. A few gnarled trees jutted crookedly from the edges of pools. He had reached Black Marsh Wetland. The terrain was truly open, and monsters were abundant, just as the post had claimed. Green marsh frogs the size of millstones rested on muddy banks beside puddles. Their gray, green skin blended seamlessly with mud, their throats bulging as they croaked loudly. Green marsh frog LV.12 HP, 2900 ATK, 340 DF, 92. Jiang Sun scanned the area. Dozens were visible within his line of sight. Further away, figures dotted the landscape. Several teams were already hunting. Groups of 3 or 4 cleared frogs around puddles, while lone professionals fought by themselves. He nodded in satisfaction. This was exactly what he needed. He walked to the nearest puddle, locked onto a frog half, submerged in mud, and prepared to cast a seal. With a thought, the seal flew silently forward and sank into the frog's body. At the same time, he felt his mana drop slightly. Jiang Sun blinked and quickly opened his panel. Mana, 1080/1120. 40 points gone. He frowned and tried once more. Targeting another green marsh frog, he released another seal. This time he watched the mana value closely. It dropped from 1080 to 1040. Another 40 points lost. Whoa, this skill was not free of charge. The first time he used the seal had been outside the promotion hall, cast casually on an acquaintance. He had been caught up in the moment and paid no attention to his mana back then. 40 mana per seal. At full capacity, his 1120 mana allowed for 28 casts. That sounded decent, yet he needed to reserve mana for summoning magic. Summoning cost 50 mana each time. If he needed to recall or resummon beasts mid-fight, running out of mana would spell trouble. His mana recovered naturally, only 12 to 20 points each minute. If he drained his mana pool completely, he would have to wait a long time to refill it. He did the math. 20 8 seals marked 20, 8 monsters at most. If every marked monster was killed, he would earn a minimum of 28 seal points. Then he would have to wait for mana to regenerate before casting again. Efficiency was far lower than he had imagined. It was nothing like his original plan of scattering seals everywhere. Against level 12 to 15 monsters, his seal casting speed and mana recovery could not even keep up with his 3 summoned beasts' clearing speed. How was he supposed to farm like this? It was clear he needed a mana recovery skill. A passive ability similar to Mana Source would be ideal. He pushed the thought aside and continued walking along the wetland edge, casting a seal on every green marsh frog he spotted. At the same time, he browsed skill options within the system shop. After casting more than 20 times, he had expended 840 mana, leaving just over 200 remaining. He stopped and sat on a dry rock to wait for his mana to restore. Meanwhile, Iron Sphere and Salted Fish had finished killing all frogs marked with seals and charged toward unmarked monsters. Something strange happened. When Iron Sphere or Salted Fish struck a monster without a seal, Jiang Sun could distinctly sense a seal forming within the creature. Huh, what was this? He read through his skill descriptions and noticed his summoned beasts automatically applied seals with their attacks. Best of all, seals placed this way cost him no mana whatsoever. Not bad at all. Even so, he still needed to obtain a mana recovery skill if he wanted to scatter seals freely. Progress was slow, but at least it required little active effort from him. He wandered the wetland for over an hour. His seal points climbed by nearly 300. His universal experience rose to more than 3,000. Some marked monsters were slain by other players, which meant Jiang Sun received no experience for those kills. All the universal experience came from monsters hunted by his 2 smaller summoned beasts. At this rate, it would take more than 10 days to accumulate enough points to unlock the next summoning slot. Far too slow. From this point onward, the routine was simple. True to his laid-back nature, Jiang Sun had no intention of hunting monsters personally. He left all 3 summoned beasts to operate within Black Marsh wetland. Finding a secluded spot, he flickered away, returning to his secret realm. Over this period, he'd earned more than 10 gold coins just from killing monsters, amounting to over 100,000 copper coins, and that was without selling any monster drop materials. He handed all the money over to his mother, telling her to buy whatever supplies she needed for the secret realm. His mother loved the green grassy scenery on the first floor. She planned to build a larger 2-story wooden house beside Uncle Ashing's cabin. He let her do as she pleased. She had plenty of free time anyway. When boredom struck, the 4 of them would sit together and play mahjong. Uncle Ashing picked up the game quickly, mastering all the rules after just 2 rounds. Believe it or not, once he got the hang of it, he carried the aura of a gambling prodigy, always drawing exactly the tiles he needed. Was this the fabled newbie luck buff? 1 bamboo. Jiang Sun tossed out a tile. Win. 13 orphans. Pay up. Uncle Ashing pushed his tiles over. Jiang Sun held his forehead in despair. Unbelievable. He'd fed someone a 13 orphans win. How was he supposed to compete now? It was nearly noon, so everyone decided to wrap up the game and make lunch. With some free time on his hands, Jiang Sun began browsing the system shop again. This time, he found exactly what he wanted. Mana Circulation Passive Rank. Common effect. Each level increases maximum mana by 10 and mana regeneration speed by 1 point per second. Price, 1,000 copper coins. Jiang Sun stared at the passive's bonuses. Not bad, similar to the Life Source passive, boosting both maximum capacity and recovery rate at the same time. He purchased it without hesitation. 1,000 copper coins was quite a bargain. A streak of white light emerged from the skill book and merged into his body. A new entry appeared on his status panel. Mana Circulation Common LV.1 Maximum Mana plus 10, Mana Regeneration Speed plus 1 point/second. He focused to sense the change. Previously, his natural mana recovery was around 15 to 16 points per minute. Now, with an extra point each second, that added 60 points every minute, bringing total recovery above 70 points. His mana pool held 1120 points in total. After emptying it, he only needed to rest for 15 to 16 minutes to fully recharge. Recovery was 3 to 4 times faster than before. The improvement was substantial, yet still insufficient. He planned to use Universal Experience to level it up, aiming to achieve endless mana. He checked the upgrade costs. Raising common rank from LV.1 to LV.2 required 100 Universal Experience, with costs rising steadily for each subsequent level. He teleported to the 5th floor and activated his cultivation acceleration. Universal Experience was hard to come by, so he had to use it wisely. Besides, the 70% reduction in consumption was incredibly valuable. Universal Experience, 30. Mana Circulation LV.1 upgraded to LV.2. Maximum Mana plus 20. Mana Regeneration Speed plus 2 points/second. Seeing the cost and the gains, it felt like picking free money. Universal Experience, 60. Mana Circulation LV.4 upgraded to LV.5. Maximum Mana plus 50. Mana Regeneration Speed plus 5 points/second. Universal Experience, 138. Mana Circulation LV.8 upgraded to LV.9. Maximum Mana plus 90. Mana Regeneration Speed plus 9 points/second. He maxed it out at common LV.9 in an instant, gaining a total of 470 extra maximum mana. He kept going. Universal Experience, 600. Mana Circulation Common LV.9 upgraded to Iron LV.1. Maximum Mana plus 130. Mana Regeneration Speed plus 12 points/second. Universal Experience, 750. Mana Circulation Iron LV.1 upgraded to Iron LV.2. Maximum Mana plus 170. Mana Regeneration Speed plus 14 points/second. Once the skill reached Iron rank, both the experience cost and stat jumps increased significantly. Universal Experience, 1800. Mana Circulation Iron LV.8 upgraded to Iron LV.9. Maximum Mana plus 450. Mana Regeneration Speed plus 28 points/second. He stopped here for now. The boost was adequate for the time being, though the skill consumed massive amounts of Universal Experience. Even with the 70% cultivation cost reduction, he burned through more than 10,000 Universal Experience points, all the experience he'd gained from monster hunting that day. Still, the power leap was undeniable. He was one step closer to his goal of freely planting life seals everywhere. He regenerated 28 mana each second. He could not continuously cast life seals nonstop. He only used them when monsters were nearby. Each life seal cost 40 mana. If he cast one every 2 seconds, his mana consumption would be fully offset by regeneration. On top of that, all these upgrades added 3,060 maximum mana points. His current mana cap stood at 4,180 points, leaving plenty of room to fight freely. He closed his skill panel, deactivated Cultivation Acceleration, and let the Yuan Gathering Steel continue accumulating primal energy. Standing up, he stretched his stiff neck. Time for lunch. Food kept people going. No one should skip a meal. After a satisfying meal, Jiang Sun teleported directly to the Black Marsh wetlands. This time, he held nothing back. He threw life seals at every monster he saw. No matter who landed the killing blow, every death would grant him more life seal charges. His 3 summoned beasts diligently hunted marsh frogs. Lingyu grew bored watching Iron Ball and Salted Fish work tirelessly. Unwilling to stand idle, she joined the hunt. She unleashed Arrow Barrage, an area attack, onto groups of monsters. With a 3-second cooldown, she cast it as soon as it refreshed. Jiang Sun secretly observed and noticed Lingyu had naturally taken charge of the team. After firing area attacks, she switched to precise single-target shots. She directed Iron Ball to hold the front line against monsters and ordered Salted Fish to fire water arrows at the most threatening marsh frogs. Their coordination looked fairly solid. 1 tank and 2 ranged damage dealers. The only missing role was support, in a rush. Once he gathered enough life seal charges, he would summon his 4th companion. Iron Ball's Mountain Shatter Strike unleashed shockwaves that knocked 3 or 4 marsh frogs back with every swing. Whenever a frog tried to break through his defense, he hammered it straight back into the monster horde. Salted Fish's condensed water arrow was pinpoint accurate, focused on finishing off wounded targets. Leaving the 3 summons to farm monsters, Jiang Sun headed in the opposite direction to explore. He scattered life seals wherever he encountered creatures. The seal planter was finally unrestrained. Ding! You defeated a marsh frog. Universal Experience plus 330, Copper Coins plus 12, Frog Leg Meat plus 1, Life Seal Charges plus 1. That kill belonged to his summons. Ding! Life Seal Charges plus 1. This charge came from another professional slaying the monster. The constant stream of system notifications sounded like beautiful music to his ears. Marsh frogs spawned steadily in the wetlands, and new teams of professionals arrived every day to hunt them. Jiang Sun's life seal charges climbed steadily. 300 on the first day, 600 on the second, and over 1,000 by the third. On the evening of the 5th day, he leaned against a crooked tree on the wetland edge and opened his status panel. Life seal charges, 4,860/10,000. He had accumulated nearly half of what he needed. Experience pool, 88500. His universal experience pool held more than 80,000 points. As he considered what to upgrade next, commotion erupted in the distance. He lifted his gaze. Deep within the wetlands, several teams converged toward the same spot, and shouts echoed across the marsh. Jiang Sun narrowed his eyes. A giant marsh frog, twice the size of ordinary specimens, slowly crawled out from the mud. A row of dark cyan bone spurs jutted from its back, and its eyes glowed crimson. An elite monster. Elite marsh frog LV.15 HP, 17210 attack, 1230 defense, 137. Impressive stats, worthy of an elite. If he called his 3 summons, they could easily overwhelm it. However, summoning them would interrupt their farming rhythm. It was only an elite monster, so he decided not to bring them over. Instead, he watched to see how local professionals fought together. People from nearby teams began calling for allies. First, he marked the elite frog with a life seal. Free gains he could not pass up. 7 or 8 Tier 1 professionals, warriors and mages alike, fought with decent coordination. Tanks held aggro at the front while casters dealt damage from behind, slowly chipping away at the elite frog's health bar. Same old tactics, nothing innovative. Jiang Sun leaned against the tree and watched, growing bored after a while. After roughly 8 minutes of fighting, the elite frog collapsed. Ding! Life seal charges +1. The elite monster granted the same charge as ordinary foes, but Jiang Sun felt no disappointment. It had been free loot from the start. He clapped his hands, stepped out from behind the tree, and continued planting life seals along the wetland border. Days passed in this routine. On the 6th day, his life seal charges rose to 6,200. He noticed his efficiency improving, not because he cast life seals faster, but because he learned the monster spawn patterns across the wetlands. He knew which puddles spawned monsters quickly and which areas drew frequent hunter parties, so he no longer wandered aimlessly. On the evening of the 7th day, he sat on a boulder beside the wetlands and checked his panel. Life seal charges, 6,240/10,000. Only 2,000 left. At his current pace, he would gather the rest in roughly 3 more days. Experience pool, 141,200. The numbers looked promising. His experience gain rate matched what he had achieved in the first Sprout Secret Realm. Just then, footsteps approached from afar. Jiang Sun looked up and saw a young man in leather armor walking toward him. He carried an iron sword slung over his back, equipment far better than average solo hunters. He stopped 5 meters away. Alone, brother? Jiang Sun sized him up. Just by myself. What can I do for you? I've seen you around here for days. The leather, armored youth said, nodding toward the wetland depths. A mutated LV-18 marsh frog, a boss, tier monster, spawned over there. Our team lacks damage dealers. Want to join us? LV.18 boss, tier monsters boasted far stronger stats than elite variants. Jiang Sun thought it over and declined. He held little interest in powerful rare monsters. He only wanted experience and kill counts. Traveling and coordinating with their party would disrupt his farming and lower his overall gains. No thanks. I'm fine hunting on my own. The youth did not push him. He shrugged and walked away. Once the man vanished, Jiang Sun looked toward the wetland interior. ALV.18 boss marsh frog. He licked his lips. Refusing to join the party did not mean he could not claim a share of the rewards. He could sneak over, mark the monster with a life seal, and earn charges once the others killed it. He stood, brushing mud off his trousers, and headed in that direction. Jiang Sun ventured deeper into the wetlands. After walking roughly 10 minutes, he heard shouts and the clash of battle ahead. He slowed his pace and peeked out from behind another crooked tree. There were an awful lot of crooked trees in this marsh. The LV.18 mutated marsh frog rested in the center of an open puddle. Its exposed back alone stretched as wide as a house roof. Its dark cyan skin was covered in countless lumps, enough to unsettle anyone prone to trypophobia. A ridge of bone spurs ran from its head all the way to its tail, giving it a prehistoric appearance. Around 20 professionals split into 3 or 4 teams fought it. Some held the front line, others loosed arrows, yet progress was slow. A warrior charged forward, only to be sent flying 3 or 4 meters by one sweep of the frog's claw. He tumbled across the mud before scrambling back to his feet. Mutated marsh frog boss LV.18 HP, 53,000 attack, 2240 defense, 637. 53,000 health, and over 2,000 attack power. If he fought it head-on, only Iron Ball could withstand its blows for a while with summoning buffs active. Jiang Sun realized he had underestimated monster strength in this world. A lesson learned: never underestimate the power of others. That said, he had no intention of joining the fight. He was only here for a life seal charge. Crouching behind the tree, he launched a life seal. The mark silently embedded itself into the boss frog's body. Satisfied, he leaned back against the trunk, pulled out fruit he had brought from the secret realm, and watched the battle casually. 20 Tier 1 professionals struggling against a boss monster made quite a spectacle. Warriors got swatted away repeatedly, tanks were slammed into the mud, and exhausted defenders fell back to receive constant healing from medics. Jiang Sun sighed as he chewed his fruit. If his 3 summons fought it, Iron Ball tanking while Salted Fish and Ling Yu attacked, they could end the fight in minutes. His summons possessed high base attack power, boosted by 100% summoning enhancement and cultivation techniques. After another 10 minutes, the mutated marsh frog's health dropped to critical levels. The party unleashed a final coordinated assault. Mages and archers poured all their power into attacks. Meanwhile, an assassin slipped unseen onto the frog's back and drove his blade into its vulnerable rear. Jiang Sun winced watching the strike. That assassin certainly knew how to target weak points. The boss frog roared in agony and flew into a rage. A warrior leaped into the air and smashed his weapon onto its head. The frog's skull crashed into the water, sending mud splattering everywhere. Life seal charges +1. Permanent stamina attribute +2. Oh, a stat boost. After hunting countless monsters, only this boss dropped attribute points. The drop rate was shockingly low. Had obtaining his SSS hidden class exhausted all his luck? A pleasant surprise nonetheless. Jiang Sun tossed away the fruit core and clapped his hands. He checked his panel. Life seal charges stood at 8041, leaving 1959 more to reach 10,000. At his current pace, 2 more days of hunting would suffice. He prepared to leave when footsteps sounded behind him. Jiang Sun turned and saw the leather, armored youth who had invited him earlier walking toward him. Mud stained his leather armor, and green frog blood coated his iron sword, yet he looked energetic. He grinned when their eyes met. "We meet again, brother." The youth sat down on the stone beside him and took a long drink from his water skin. That boss monster's stats are absurd. For teams combined just to take it down. On the bright side, the loot was good. We got a Tier 1 gold equipment forging blueprint. That's extremely valuable. He spoke openly, clearly confident in his own strength. "I'm Han Mo," the youth said, extending a hand. "Sword Fighter, LV.17. Jiang Sun shook his hand. "Brother Han, truly impressive. You fought through that battle and looked barely worn out." Han Mo's smile widened at the compliment. Jiang Sun subtly examined him. A LV.17 Tier 1 sword fighter with complete gear, far better equipped than Jiang Sun, who only owned 3 pieces of equipment. During the boss fight, Jiang Sun noticed Han Mo's careful positioning. He only struck after tanks secured aggro and retreated immediately after attacking, never greedy for extra hits. His excellent battle rhythm spoke of abundant combat experience. He ranked among the strongest solo hunters around. "I'm Jiang Sun, summoner." Jiang Sun politely gave his class. "A summoner traveling alone out here? You've got courage, little brother." Han Sun did not press for more details and smiled. "Want to add each other as contacts? We might be able to cooperate if we find valuable resources later." Jiang Sun thought for a moment and accepted the request. They exchanged contact information. Han Mo stood and brushed dirt off his clothes. "I need to head off to split the loot with the others." Jiang Sun watched his departing figure, then walked toward an empty area and teleported back to the secret realm. Peace reigned inside the secret realm. Beside Uncle Ashing's cabin, the wooden frame of the new house had been erected. His mother sat in her wheelchair, gesturing over blueprints with Uncle Ashing. Jiang Xiaoxiao squatted on the ground, drawing in the dirt with a twig. When she spotted Jiang Sun returning, she jumped up. "Brother, look, Mom wants to build a 2-story house with a balcony." I see it. Jiang Sun ruffled her hair. "What are you drawing?" He leaned over to look at her artwork. A male figure sat inside a circle, surrounded by monsters snarling and closing in. Truly a gifted amateur artist. Yet Jiang Sun instantly recognized the figure as himself. It looked like she had drawn a circle, trapping him surrounded by threats. This little troublemaker needed discipline. He flicked her forehead lightly. His mother glanced up. "Why are you back so early today?" "Nothing much going on. Came back to rest." Jiang Sun sat on a stone beside her. "Mom, do you need more money? I have extra." "It's fine. I haven't spent all you gave me last time." His mother waved him off. Jiang Sun looked toward Uncle Ashing, who was trimming a roof beam. "Uncle Ashing, your physical cultivation is progressing well. Are you close to leveling up?" Uncle Ashing paused his work and smiled. "Still a long way off. It won't happen quickly." The family spent the rest of the afternoon relaxing together. His mother cooked dinner, steamed antler lamb, stir, fried greens, and meatballs made from steel main wild boar meat. Later, Jiang Sun lay alone on the cabin bed, staring at the ceiling lost in thought. He opened his panel once more. Life seal charges, 8,200/10,000. Universal experience pool, 162000. 2 more days of hunting would earn enough life seal charges. With over 160,000 universal experience stored, it was time to promote one summon to platinum rank. As he pondered his options, a system notification suddenly echoed in his mind. Your summoned salted fish has been slain. A jolt ran through Jiang Sun. He shot upright from the bed, his expression darkening instantly. Salted fish was dead. This marked the first time one of his summons had fallen. He knew summons could not die permanently, but reviving them left them weakened for an entire day. All 3 summons were hunting outside. They had been fine when he teleported back to the secret realm. How could this happen? Killed by monsters? Unlikely. He had farmed the wetlands for 8 days. No local creature could threaten his summons. They could flee if overwhelmed. Had another hunter attacked them? He took a deep breath to calm his panic and activated summoning magic. Familiar light filled the room as salted fish reformed. Its state was plainly wrong. The golden scales covering its body dulled, its tail hung limply, and it could not even roll its eyes as it usually did. Jiang Sun knelt down and gently touched salted fish. Vague impressions flowed from the summon's mind. It had been attacking a marsh frog when a golden barrier enveloped it, and everything went black. It only regained consciousness upon being summoned back now. A golden barrier? Where had it come from? A monster or a person? Jiang Sun's expression turned grim. He leaned against the cabin door and sorted through possibilities. Salted fish was the weakest of his 3 summons, with the lowest HP pool. At LV.6, its health barely exceeded 5,000, and it was only gold rank. Whoever struck it could eliminate salted fish in a single blow, meaning they possessed tremendous power. Why kill only salted fish and leave Iron Ball and Lingyu alive? Were the other 2 still fighting? Or was this an attempt to lure him out into the open? Had news of his record-breaking SSS hidden class leaked? All participants remained anonymous, so very few people should know about it. Unless there was an informant somewhere. So this is the game they want to play. Did they think he was easy prey anyone could bully? Jiang Sun clenched his fists. He could not hide from this. He would head out. If he could not win, he could rely on Xingyao. He was certain Xingyao would intervene if his life faced genuine danger. As a last resort, he could teleport back to the secret realm and send messages to powerful allies for help. Even if risking exposing the secret realm's location, he had to go out and find out whether a human or monster was responsible. With a thought, Jiang Sun reappeared within the marshlands.